Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel or are watching this channel for the very first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense, because here on this platform, we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions. But not everyone uses logic. For that reason, it is called uncommon sense. I just want to let everybody know that right now I am live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. As always, I would like to give a huge shout out to all those who have already subscribed to the channel. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media. And also, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who allow me to enter in your devices. I'm just going to ask that if you have not done so, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell notification to all. So, therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to either to catch it live or catch it on the playback. Okay. Now I left the comments, so I'm gonna ask that everyone that does appear, please like as you enter the stream. Okay. Now tonight it's gonna be open discussion. Meaning what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna have my discussion regarding several things that are currently on my mind and maybe on your mind as well. Also, if there's anyone that would like me to discuss a different topic, you can enter it in the chat. Now, I do want to let everyone know that the subscriber mode is on, meaning if you are not a subscriber, in order for you to enter a comment in the chat, you need to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. And when I ask this, anyone who's thinking about entering comment, I don't censor people. But I do ask that you please be respectful regarding me or anyone that may be on the chat or anyone that's on the panel. And if you are on the panel, please do not overtalk anyone that's on the panel. Because here, everyone's opinions matter. Anyone who is not able to abide by these humble rules, you will be blocked. It is that simple. And I have no problem whatsoever blocking people who after given a sufficient warning, choose to misbehave. So, as I stated before, tonight is going to be open discussion. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link, and if anyone wishes to join the panel, all you got to do is hit the link. And I see here we already have someone else, which is the one and the only Magic Monata. Good evening. So it's a pleasure to see you. I'm going to try to make your stream on Sunday. I might have to cut my stream short because I don't want to miss it. Speaking about Magic Monata, I just want to let everybody know that Magic also has her platform. And she does discuss a lot of issues. And in my humble opinion, I think she represents the biracial and multiracial community very well. She's a very positive person. Her content is very positive. She tends to be more of a reconciliation force. So I'm going to ask that if you have not done so, please social love for Magic Mulata and subscribe to her channel and check out her content. So, in the meanwhile, no, I thank you for allowing me on your platform. And the fact of the matter is, we're not big creators here on these YouTube streets. So what we need to do is do what we can to support each other. Um, it's not really. Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. Now, the first topic I'm going to be discussing was, of course, delegate training that I had this past weekend. Now, some of you may already know that I am very active in my union, which is SSE Local 371. So, me and about 200 delegates had the opportunity to spend a weekend together for delegate training, learning some techniques, how to be effective delegates. And our function is to represent our membership and make sure that all the contracts that are enforced be properly applied. Okay. So it was an opportunity for new delegates to learn from some of the seasoned veterans. And we got someone here. Okay. So I just want to let everybody know that the views of those who appear on the panel are not necessarily those of the host nor the channel. Any attempt to copy the material without the consent of the host of the channel is prohibited. By appearing on the call, you waive your rights to your image. Some of the views that people might hold might be considered offensive to others. If you do not like the content, you can block the channel. And now I'm going to bring in, hopefully, if my computer cooperates. Oops, sorry. Yeah. Hello? Okay.
There.
Let's
Hey,
see if we can.
Jose.
Okay. Hello, Magic.
How you doing?
Fine. How you doing tonight? Or is it? Oh,
Wonderful. What was the topic? I didn't hear you. You said you wanted to talk about something first.
no, it's open discussion night.
Oh, it's open discussion night. Ooh, you know what I want to talk about?
Sure. Shoot.
I want to talk about being a small YouTube channel. Let's talk about that. Like what it's like being like a smaller YouTube channel. And I want to talk about anything but race at this point, because I'm like,
No, believe me. Believe
we
me.
need a break. We need a break from that. It's not good to be obsessed with that topic, always talking about it, always.
No. We're not going to be talking about. We're not going to be talking about race tonight. No.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. I want to talk about what's like being a smaller YouTuber, and like what's your experience with that? Because I've been doing this for a couple months, So yeah, but what's your experience like? Why did you want to come on YouTube in the first place? So what made you want to like have a platform like this? Like what inspired you to do that?
Okay. Well, I'm not. Okay, I'm not going to lie. Actually, the person that inspired me to have my own platform was another YouTube creator. Her name is Denise Gonzalez of Latin who has her own platform. So one day I was on one of her streams and she asked me, why don't I have my own channel? It's like, me? Who wants to listen to an old fart like me talk? that was my initial reaction. Now, if you take a look at the format that I use, it's very similar to her format. What I will do is I will bring up a discussion, and the discussions can vary. Some of them tend to be serious, some tend to be funny, some tend to be lighthearted. And what I will do is I will share information from various resources. Also, as I always do in every stream, I would invite individuals who wish to enter a comment or join the panel and express their point of view. Should they disagree? Fine, let's hear your arguments.
I like that. Have trying to like create healthy diet. I want to do the same thing. I I like I did a debate stream. I like having open, healthy dialogue and conversation. I think that's how you create community. That's how you create connections. That's how you create, you know, I like challenging people's beliefs. You know, I think that's a healthy thing to do sometimes. And that gets taken the wrong way sometimes, you know? And yeah.
Okay, but you know something? I think one of the problems is that certain people have some misconceptions in regards to the golden spear and biracial and multiracial community. The multiracial community. One thing that I have tried to do is to illustrate that there are many positive people in the golden spear, and there are many positive people in the biracial and multiracial community.
Thank you, because it's like any other group. There's always going to be positive and negative, no matter what group you be in, right? So it's like, yeah, I think it's all about, you know, when it comes to like biracial people, it's like we all of us try to be all about balance. You know, that's why, you know, I think like discussing heavy topics, I like to keep it, you got to keep it balanced out with being lighthearted sometimes, and you know, just talking about like, yeah, you know, you got to like always try to balance it out. And you know, that's what I try to do too. I try to just balance things out, and you know, not take it so serious all the time. You know, I don't think that's good. You can't take YouTube that seriously. Of course, I've always wanted to be a YouTuber too. I've always loved YouTube. I've always loved the platform. I've always loved so many YouTubers. I've loved their content, and I've been inspired by them. And you know, and I wanted to start being in this lane because you know, I found Gigi and Multi, and I was like, they were very inspiring to me to want to they're very encouraging to other like biracial women to like start speaking up on things and stuff like that. And I wanted to, you know, help the cause and help, you know, just getting our voice and opinions out there and our perspectives out there. And you know, I thought, yeah, and I love it. I'm loving my channel. I'm loving it. You know, I am doing just having conversations that I think are interesting to me, that I think are, you know, something I want to discuss. And, you know, I'm doing me on my channel, you know, and that's how it all should be. It should, you know, if you're having fun, you love your channel, at the end of the day, you're doing what you want to do. That's all that matters at the end of the day. You know, you're not hurting nobody. You're not talking, you know, you're not really using your platform, because using your platform to be malicious or attack people or do anything wrong to people, you know, I think that having a platform is a privilege, right? You know, because nowadays, you know, anybody can have a platform, right? But still, it's still a privilege. At the end of the day, we're still privileged. You know, most people don't even have internet. You know, like most of the world, like a lot of people in the world don't even have internet or access to the internet at all. So it's still a privilege, and you know, I think it should be respected. Like it should be very respected, having a platform where you could just, you know, put what you think out there to the whole internet, the whole world. So. Mhm.
Magic question: how has been your experience with dealing with YouTube creators who are not necessarily a part of the Golden Spear, but in different venues? How has been your experience been?
Hold on, what do you mean? I don't understand the question. How's my experience with people who's been like outside of?
The Golden Spear, yeah.
You know, I'm all over YouTube. You know, I'd be all over, like doing everywhere, all over. So my experience has been pretty good. I'll make comments. You know, I like being a lot, like participating in lots of different live chats, and it's been good for me. You know, it's fun.
Yeah.
You know what I was just on? Okay, okay. You know, like how Cynthia G, how she's always. I don't watch her content, but if she's like bringing up like biracial people, I'll be there. So I was in her chat, and it was a good conversation because they were like, what they were saying was like, oh, you know, we don't owe biracial people acceptance, and I was like, I agree with you. You know, black people, they don't owe biracial people nothing. Biracial don't owe black people nothing. You know, we don't need white acceptance. We don't need black acceptance. We're just our own people. And sorry, you know, I made it about race. I'm sorry. But I'm just saying, like, that was my most recent thing. That was people like outside of Golden Sphere. And, you know, I agree with that. I'm like, you know what? We just our own people. We just need our own acceptance in life. And, you know, that's what's going to make us, that's going to be what's best for us at the end of the day. And yeah, I thought that was a good conversation. I was like, you know what? You know, I agree with you guys on that. You know, ain't nothing wrong with that. And let me see, who else do I just be all over YouTube, really. You know, all over the YouTube streets, and I've always loved YouTube. I've been on YouTube since I was like 2007. You know, all over in all these different spaces and stuff, and so I know how it is, and I like, you know, trying to create my own space.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, For the most part, I have had many positive experiences with the Golden Spear and the biracial, multiracial community. Of course, there's been some misunderstandings. I have made some mistakes along the way, and I'm still learning how to deal with all of you because, while in some ways you're like every other community, in other ways you're different because you have issues that's very germane to your to the biracial, multiracial community alone. Part of it has to do with self identity.
Hold on, what did you say? I hear
I
something.
said, okay, I said that I had many positive experiences with the Golden Spear and the biracial and multiracial community. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, in some ways, so like every other community, they have their own, they have, they have issues and internal conflicts, and then there's some issues that's only pertinent to them. What seems to be a big issue, with, at least with some members of the community, is individual self identity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's where I want to step in and try to just have the conversations that we really can't have these type of conversations nowhere else. We can't have it like we can't. A lot of people. That's why I want to help. I just want to help people feel understood and that they could, find a community that can relate to them so they can speak on these type of issues because that's something we face. Like nobody can really relate to these type of issues, and then we don't really have a space or community to talk about them. So that's what I tried to like come in and there's already been a space before that, and I just wanted to help contribute to the space and help push it forward. And I'm a small baby little YouTube, and
Oh,
I'm having fun with it. I really like it.
well, you have more subs than I do. I just have 162.
And you know what? At the end of the day, I really don't care about subs like that. I do want to, of course, I want to reach as many people as I can. I do want to grow, and that's what I'm focusing on more on just growing as like a content creator. I don't really care about the subs or the views. I just want I just want to grow. Like I want to become more articulated. I want to become more well researched. I want to become more well educated. I want to become more, I just want to grow. It like that's the best thing about YouTube. You go see a big YouTuber and you see where they started it, you see like their first video and their growth. I think that's the most important thing. It's like playing the infinite game. It's like I'm not in competition with nobody, you know? It's not really a competition to me. It's just more about just keep continuously growing and growing and try to grow as a person, as a creator, as a YouTuber. And I think that's what I want. That's what I want to get out of it. I've always been like a person who like it's like self improvement for me. It's going to push me to want to self improve and want to do better in my life and do better, online too. Because online in real life, I think that it's who you. Somebody said this, and I totally agree with this. Because I watch Anton Daniels. He said something one time that like made sense to me. I was like, who you are online is who you really are deep down. If you're going to come on here and be crazy and act weird, and that's who you truly are deep down. But nobody in like real life, you may have a mask, but there's no mask online. So who you are online is who you truly, truly are without the mask and without the social, um, the social backlash. Like, if you started acting like how you really are deep down in like real life, there'd be a lot of social backlash. So people put on a mask. But here there's no mask. Like you're dealing with who really people are really deep down, like no mask. Like and some people, they fake to be something they're not too at the same time. Like, you don't really know who's behind the computers and who's behind the phones and who's really you don't really ever know. You just gotta have faith that you're doing what's best for you and you're trying to help people, hopefully, and you just got to have faith in it because you never know who's watching. You never know what they people what other people think about what's going on. You don't know what's going on in other people's lives. Like you don't ever know. It's just like a unknowable game. You don't really know who you're impacting, who you never know. So you just got to just have that self-confidence and that self-trust that you're trying to do is right. That's all.
What has been your biggest surprise in your experience as a YouTube creator?
How much I really enjoy it. I think the good outweighs the bad. Because there is a lot of downsides to it. I had my highs and lows with it. But I truly believe that the good outweighs the bad. If you're doing, you know, trying to do positive content, you're trying to like really make a positive, you got your heart in the right place. I think that's all that matters at the end of the day, and the good will always outweigh the bad. Because what you put out there, I really believe, I'm really a firm believer of like what you put out there in the universe is going to come back to you. If you're going to try to put out positive things, positive, but of course, like negativity, but it don't really affect me as much. Like there's people who don't like me. There's people who, you know, we fell out with and all of this stuff, but it really don't really affect me as much because I know I try to do what's right, and I try to do right by people at the end of the day. And I know I make mistakes. I know I'm not perfect. I'm not better than nobody, of course. And that's something I want to fight too. So many people think that, oh, biracial people, they think they're better than people, and that's a negative stereotype that I want to try to fight. And I'm actually really happy. I'm really happy, and I like what you say all the time. If I'm cool with me, I try to be on good terms with everybody. I'm not here to, you know, I've always been in this space trying to unite people, trying to bring people together, trying to create dialogues and connections and conversations. And I don't know, I'm really happy. It took me a year to make a channel. Because when I first came, I wasn't confident in myself. I didn't really want to put myself out there. I was really scared because, like, dang, I see what other content creators are going through, and I'm like, I don't want to go through that. But I'm surprised. Like, I've really been, I'm actually really happy with my channel, and
Mhm.
yeah, I don't really care about the views as long as I'm not really worried about the views and the stuff in the this or that. I'm just focusing on like being happy and talking about what I want, what makes me happy. We're talking about things that I feel like are important. Yeah, I'm happy. That's all.
But you brought up an interesting point regarding how certain people have disagreements with others, and I try to be mindful of that. But particularly, when the last couple of times I've been on Angry Biracial's channel, um, because I know let's keep it real. I mean, he's a very successful YouTube creator. He's written several books and what have you. Oh, excuse me. Let me just acknowledge the fact that we have the inch below Perico. Hey, let me let her talk. Am I stopping you from talking, Magic?
Oh, you're good. He's fine. He's letting me ramble. He's letting me talk. It's okay.
Okay, but when I'm mindful of the fact that he has issues with different YouTube creators. Some of them I'm in good terms with. So I just make it clear I'm not being disrespectful. It just so happens that some of the people that I'm cool with, he's not cool with. So and sometimes there'll be unreconcilable differences, and sometimes it's just best to go your separate ways. I mean, I think without a doubt, Gigi and Multi are very, very creative, very dedicated, and strong ladies and strong YouTube creators. And I think um, Angry has been very successful with his platform. So I'm not going to, cast any shade on anybody. And I just want to say, you know, you know, you know, go forward and just do yourself.
Yeah, and with me, I am cool. Like, I don't have no beef or personally anything against nobody in these, but besides one person, we all know who that is. We all know
Oh,
who it
believe me, I know. I have. Believe me, I
is.
know.
Yeah. Besides
Believe
one
me,
person who I've
no,
done
believe
everything
me.
I can to disassociate from, because we know who that is. We know, you know,
Well, he
you know.
actually he
Oh.
actually had the nerve to call my channel insignificant.
Very much giving narcissism, and I really don't want to associate with anybody like that.
Yeah. Well, okay.
So, but what I'm saying is though, is I personally like don't really. I'll have a disagreement with somebody, but it's not like a personal thing. Like I feel like that's what happened with me and Rachel. It was like I just personally disagreed with like something he was saying and stuff, and he took it as like personal attack, but it's not personal attack to me because I'm like I don't have nothing personally against you. It's just I just don't agree with what you're saying right here, and that's it. Like I wish that we could just disagree without feeling like taking it personal. Like a lot of people don't like the fact that I'm inclusive and they say something about it, but I don't take it personal. I'm just like y'all just don't like what I'm saying or what I'm doing, and that's cool. Like so, I just feel like yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna get my daughter a bath.
It's okay. A mother's work is never done. But look, I try to be very inclusive as well, and sometimes people get a little bothered by it. But it's just that I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again.
What'd you say? Hold on. What'd you say?
No, I'm just saying that it's how some people get a little bit annoyed that I try to be inclusive as well. But I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. If you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. That's all it counts.
Exactly. That's how I feel too. And yeah, because we need collaborate. Like YouTube collaboration is very important, right? And I said this before. I'm like, how are we going to collaborate if everybody don't like each other? So I try to like put those aside and just try to collaborate with people. If we have a good topic we both want to like talk about, and you want to have some input, like I'm not worried about who you don't like or who is this or so that's what I've said. That I was like, how are we need to just sometimes put things aside and learn how to just collaborate and just think like it's bigger than us sometimes. I always try to put things in perspective, like it's not only about me, it's bigger than us. It's bigger, it's trying to help us as a people, as a collective, because this space has helped me a lot. That's why I'm so invested into it, and I want to help it grow. I want to help contribute to it in a positive, wonderful way, that the best way I can, as best as I can. And hi Reese. And so that's why I'm like, it's bigger than me, because I know it's going to help other people, and it's just not only about me.
Yeah. Good evening, Reese. It's always a pleasure to see you in the chat. Okay. Look, when everything is said and done, this is my cyber home, and what I try to do, that whoever is gracious enough to enter into my cyber home, I try to make them feel as comfortable as I can. Unfortunately, there's been a couple of people I had to block because they were being disrespectful towards me, or they're being disrespectful towards the people on the panel or in the chat. One thing about me is I don't censor people. Okay, or I ask that you be respectful and don't try to overtalk people. That's all.
I mean, that's good. I like how you said cyber home. Like this is our cyber home. And you want to you got to keep your home clean. You got to keep your home in order. It's not perfect. Nobody got like a perfect put together home, but you still want to make sure, like, if you have guests in your home, that they feel good and they feel welcome, and you got to protect them from people trying. So I'm gonna think of it like that too from now, like a cyber home. Like, this is my cyber home. I like that. I like that.
I would appreciate if you're watching it, please, hit the like button. It doesn't cost you anything. It does help me with my algorithm. And I do try to be inclusive, and I do try to bring positive messages, because unfortunately in these YouTube streets, you see a lot of drama, and you see a lot of ratchetness and whatnot.
Yeah. And it's like, I think you should pick your battles wisely, like me. It's like, if somebody's disagreeing with a value I have, I'll definitely speak up about it and be like, no, I can't co-sign this. I'm not going to be able to, agree with this. This is against my values. This is against something. But, if somebody's just, being hateful and just being trolling, and just, why engage with that, because they're just trolling you. They're just trying to bring you down to another level, and they're just trying to, get you out your character, and why engage with that? That's not, I think you should pick your battles wisely. That's all, right?
Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely correct, and it's just that this is. I mean, it's not all that serious. This is YouTube. This is a social platform. I mean, back in back in the back in the early days, you didn't have platforms where you can, basically you have to like use a telephone to speak with each other or write letters. Nowadays, you can have instant communication with anyone all over the world. That's a blessing, and if used wisely, and it could be a curse if you don't use it wisely.
Yeah, and I've learned because I've been on the internet since like not all my life, not because it wasn't around when I was like a little kid, but since like middle schoolish. And yeah, I used to fight with everybody. I used to be in freaking comments fighting people, and I used to fight with everybody, and I used to it used to make me miserable. I'm like, oh, like all these people, like it used to yeah, it was bad, but I had to learn. I was like, hey, how do I use this tool to my benefit so it actually makes me a better person? Like, you know how like there's free books out there. There's a lot of free education out there. There's a lot of, all amazing content. There's a lot of people who, there's a lot of great things out there if you look for it. If you use the tool wisely to your own benefit, so it could help you like online should help you in your real life, right? Like when you get offline, you should be a better person in real life. So that's my thing about it. I'm like, this should help you in your real life. We're not, you can't make the internet your whole life, right? I be online a lot. I definitely do, but I'm always trying to make sure, like when I'm off the internet, it's gonna make sure I'm not letting like the internet affect me negatively in real life. So yeah.
Yeah. I think you're gonna have a very interesting stream on Sunday night. Would you like to just speak on it a little bit?
So as in a biracial community, we hear this a lot about how we feel rejected. We're not white enough for the white side, we're not black enough for the black side, and we feel very rejected and very isolated and very lonely and very there's a lot of hurt and anger that happens from that. So I want to know how I just want to start the conversation of healing, of how we can start the healing process in a healthy way so we could be healthy emotionally, mentally, spiritually, so we don't have to let that hurt like turn us into a person we don't want to be, right? So we don't let that hurt and rejection, anger turn us into a very toxic person that's gonna be attacking people, is gonna be hurtful to people, and yeah, stop. Come on.
Okay. Well, look, the
Yeah,
fact of the matter is there's a saying, hurt people, hurt people. I mean,
exactly.
yeah, because what happens is when you are emotionally wounded, you're going to wound others. Sometimes it's not intentionally, uh, but it's just that when you are not well mentally or emotionally, you're not going to function well.
Exactly. I think mental health is one of the most important things because if your mind is not good, if your mind you won't be able to accomplish anything in life. Like I witnessed that with my dad. Like he had like schizophrenia, mental health issues, and he wasn't really able to like really do what he had all these like he wasn't really able to do what he really wanted with his life because he was battling mental health issues and stuff. And I think that mental health, if we want to have a thriving, positive community, mental health is going to be at the forefront of that. It's going to be. I'm not a mental health professional. I'm somebody who has overcome a lot of challenges in my life. And only thing I can do is share my experiences with people, and I hope people find value in that somehow. But I really, just want to promote the idea like mental health is not something you just put on the back burner. It's the most important thing. Like your mind is the most powerful thing that you have. It's the most powerful tool that you can have, and you could use it wisely to your advantage and make sure that you're taking care of your mind because it's the most powerful thing in your that you have that God gave us, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's the reason why I devote a considerable amount of my content to mental health issues, because these are topics that not many people like to talk about. I mean, whether it be depression, whether it be grieving, whether it be thoughts of self deletion, um, these are topics which could be extremely difficult to discuss, which is why I have tried to cover these topics, on my platform in the past. In fact, I'm going to be doing a stream how to keep from being stressful during the holidays, because we all know that from Thanksgiving to New Year's, depending what is your mental well-being, it could be very stressful. First of all, because some people are away from loved ones, or people might experience a death in the family, or people might experience a loss of a job or a romantic relationship. So, and then here you are in a time of the year when everything's supposed to be festive and you're supposed to have a good time. Meanwhile, you're hurting mentally. So it's kind of hard to keep a positive mindset when you are depressed or upset or you're dealing with some mental trauma.
Love you want to talk about the things. That's why I'm so supportive of you, and I really want to help promote it. But okay, here's something I want to talk about as like YouTuber. So if you're trying to be positive and trying to make a positive impact on people, we all know that negativity and drama that's going to attract more views. That's going to attract more people to your channel. So it's like if you want to take a positive lane and try to go down a positive route, how can we grow as a YouTube channel? Because most people are not attracted to that. So how are we going to be able to thrive and grow if you want to be a positive? I think what you think? I think we should just stay true to ourselves and not really worry about like the sub counts and views. And it's more about quality over quantity to me. If you're attracting quality people like as subscribers and as who actually like really resonate with your message and really do want to choose to want to grow and be positive and learn about these things and so yeah, so I don't think that you know I just wish that we could find a way to like grow. It's like if you want to do something positive. So hello. So what
Yeah.
do you think about that? What do you think about that? Because usually positive things don't really get a lot of attention, but more negativity and drama get way more attention. So what do you think about that?
Okay. Well, first of all, let me acknowledge that Cultural Politics 2.0 is in the chat. Good evening. Thank you very much for stopping by. When it comes to trying to stay positive and then grow, it's I'm not going to lie, it is a challenge. And there are weeks where I will not gain a subscriber, and there'll be weeks where I might lose one or two here and there. But I think the best way to look at this is not as a sprint, but as a marathon. There's going to be times where you're going to see a considerable amount of activity as far as viewership is concerned. And there's going to be weeks where it's going to be very slow. Okay. I mean, you just have to remain consistent and be true to yourself. That's the main thing, because the temptation is to go negative because you see other YouTube creators are having success going negative. That's not me. First of all, my name is attached to my channel. Okay. And also, I'm well known within my circles. So I'm very careful when it comes to how I may be perceived, which is why I won't do retro streams. I won't go negative. I will discuss serious topics. I will bring a light to those negative situations or behaviors, but it's not meant to be judgmental. It's just simply to illustrate what's wrong and trying to come up with some sort of a solution to deal with these issues.
Yep, I agree with you. It's about playing like it's playing the infinite game. It's about long run. And me, I'm about respecting like negative energy, because life's not 100% positive all the time. Life is negative people enter your life. Like that's a part of human experience, so I'm always about just try to keep it balanced, because sometimes you're going to talk about negative things, and that's okay too, of course. But
Yeah.
it's all about like that's what life's all about, is just trying to keep the balance, and trying to find about the right, because you're not gonna respond to every situation all super positive and you did the right, like that's normal. Like we're all human beings. So I just think that it's about giving ourselves grace. It's about giving people grace, and just trying to grow from the situation. Like if we made mistakes, like we just try to learn and grow. So it's all about growth to me. Like it's about not doing things that don't benefit you. If you do something like that, don't. Hey, how you doing, Blasian? And I think that, yeah, to me, it's all about growth. Trying to give yourself grace and love, forgiveness. Trying to give people in your community grace, love, forgiveness, and give everybody room to grow. And give people. That's something like us as biracial people, we're not given the benefit of the doubt most of the time. Like we're expected to be perfect, and we're expected to be like, because it's an acceptance thing. It's like we have to be perfect in order to feel accepted by other people. Hi, Radical Latino. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on? What's up, guys?
What's up? But let me finish my point real quick. So as like biracial people, it's like we're expected to be like super perfect, and it's like an accepted thing. But it's just about like giving our people a benefit of the doubt, giving forgiveness, and being able to just be give ourselves grace. So, anyways, yeah. Hi, Radical Latino. Just
What's
talking
up?
about
What's up? What's up? What's up?
something.
What's up?
Yeah, what's
Uh,
up?
good
What's what?
evening, Brad. How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. What are we talking about tonight? I'm hearing
Uh, we're
Being,
something.
just having
What's up?
we're just having random discussion.
Oh, okay.
I was talking about being a YouTuber. I really like your channel, Radical Latino. I've been popping in on your
Oh, thank
lives and
you.
stuff. I really
Thank
like
you.
it.
It gets a little too hectic, but
It gets too
I'm glad you.
hectic. I think you make
I'm
some good
glad you enjoy it.
topics. I think it's really interesting. It's me learning about your community, and I love it. Like, I love learning about people's communities, and I think it's
Yeah.
really good. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hmm.
The what I was gonna just say was how's you guys Friday night evening going? I got
I
pretty
ain't
much
doing
nothing
nothing.
to add to it.
Oh, we were talking about. I brought up the, like being like a YouTuber or whatever. So, what's your like? What made you want to jump on YouTube and like because you've grown really fast too. You got a pretty big platform and stuff. So, what's it like being a YouTuber? You said it get too hectic, like it get too much sometimes, and
No,
what's
well,
that?
just some of the engaging topics and some of the titles that I put down. People get they pretty much already start thinking something or making assumptions that I never made, and start saying thinking that I either agree or disagree with their stance or whatever the case is. So when I open the floor up for discussions, I'm saying it gets a little hectic because people automatically are coming with their feelings instead of wanting
Yeah,
to talk. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
being a YouTuber, it's actually pretty fun because
it's
you get to
fun.
you get to hear all these different perspectives, different people's walks of life, how they see certain things, and it kind of gives you a broader sense of, okay, you're not really in a bubble. There's a lot more to the world than just what you see around your daily life. You know?
I love that point because that's what I wanted to try to do too. Like, gain other people's perspectives on things and be able to. I like challenging different belief systems and being able to. But I like that because I want to do more debate streams because I like to debate too. I like debating, but it does get hectic when people are very attached to like what they feel and is right, and then people challenge
Yeah,
that, and that gets like people take it personally, right? They don't want to just debate the facts; they just want to take things personally. So that is,
yeah,
yeah, I feel that.
yeah. Especially, listen, like the thing that I've always been told: never bring up race, religion, or politics to any conversation unless you want to have a fight.
That's all I
You
talk about is
know?
race mostly. That's my
Yeah,
platform. I talk about biracial shit, biracial experiences, and it is a lot to do with race. And I try to be as civil and respectful as possible. It's a very sensitive topic. It's something that's very, you know, very, very, very sensitive. So I do try to just like.
so let me ask you what is
Mhm.
one of the misconceptions that biracial people get that is pretty much false, or that you are sick and tired of hearing?
Oh my God, the main one. There's two of them. The main one, like I just mentioned this Jose, like, oh, everybody thinks we're better than everybody. Like, oh, they think they better. Like, that's so annoying to me. Like, I'm a human being. I know I'm a human being just like anybody else. Like I'm equal as a human being, just like, you know, everybody has intrinsic value as a human being. That's all I see. I don't view myself as better, or that's so annoying. And then the second one is like, oh, I hate my blackness if I claim I'm mixed or if I claim I'm biracial. That means it's like, no, I love both sides of myself. That's all. That's it. Period. It's
You
not. I'm not trying to get
you
away from
want
my blackness. I
you want to
love.
hear something funny? You want to hear
Yeah.
something funny? That's
Mhm.
exact. It's very. I'm sorry to do this, and I'm sorry to
Mhm.
compare, but that sounds a lot what a lot of Latinos and Latinas say.
Yeah, we do go through the same things because, you know, there's a lot of big. Jose mentions that all the time. There's like big mixed race populations in Latin
Yeah,
America. So
exactly.
yeah.
So when certain individuals say, "I'm not black, I'm Dominican," or whatever the case is, which has
Yeah.
become a meme now. People
Yeah.
say, "Oh, they're denying their blackness," and that's not the thing. It's
Exactly.
they're just letting you know, no, I'm not a black American. I'm just Dominican. I'm a black
Yeah.
Dominican.
I
You know
posted,
what I'm
I
saying?
totally relate to the Dominicans so much when it comes to that. I
Yeah,
posted a video of like a Dominican explaining why they don't do that. And like they're all mixed. They don't really go by race, they go by national identity. And I'm like, that makes sense to me because if you just only claim that you're black, you're gonna deny another part of you and they don't want to do that. And you're
exactly.
gonna be shamed for that. Yeah.
And the thing is, like in Latin America, like let's say government paperwork or whatever the case is,
Hmm.
there's no race. It's just mixture. So so you have to check off like either your mulatto, your biracial, stuff like that. So that's
Hmm.
how they really like identify you,
Hmm.
not by race but by mixture. And you
Wow.
see it in IDs, you see it in actually in
Wow.
birth
That.
certificate birth certificates. That's what they mostly put down. So when I became a dual citizen to the Dominican Republic, I had to fill
Mhm.
out that paperwork, and it
Mm.
shocked me because I was like, wait a minute, what's race? And usually it's just by mixture. So if you're literally one mixture like black, it has black. If you're just one mixture like white, white, but it also says mulatto,
I love
biracial,
that. I love that. So,
mestizo, and stuff like that. So
wow, they
I
respect
so
those identities there.
yeah,
I like that
yeah,
a lot.
yeah. So it really brought me back. Like, whoa, wait a minute,
America's
really?
behind. America's
So
very, very, very behind. Like,
yeah, so I asked them. I even asked the lady. I was like, "Where's Asian?" And they're like, "Well, is Asian a mixture? It's up to them. Whoever how they identify." I'm like, "Oh,
mhm.
okay." So it kind of like got me seeing it in a different way.
That is interesting. I didn't know that. See, that's what I'm trying to fight for here, like to have our identity like on the census and have that mixture on there. Because right now it's just like you two or more races. They don't really say like you can pick black or white. But I do want to have like our own identity, where we're like our own people, because we're not accepted by white or black people. You know, so it's
Yeah.
like we can't be two things at once. We want to be our own like type of
No,
thing. You know, just.
there is. I've seen certain biracial folks. They
Hmm.
could be they could be too white for white folks, and certain
Hmm.
biracials could be too black for black folks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like we really
So
just want to be our own people, like our
yeah,
own
yeah.
thing.
Like
Our
I understand it. Also because America. Let's be honest, but America does put you in that race box category,
one
and
drop
it kind of
rule. Yep.
yeah, and it kind of gives you like, okay, now you have to stereotypically choose which one you are,
Hmm. We
and
want to
if
fight
you're
against that.
exactly. So if you're not this, then you can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, come on now.
Exactly. It's so lame. I hate how, you know, people think about race in America. Like we want to challenge it, you know, because people are just so black and white thinking in America. You're either black or white or this. Like when it's a spectrum. Like there's so much more. Like the way people think about race is so outdated, in my opinion. You know, it's so outdated. There's in between people. There's people like us. Like we exist too. Like in America, we're very invisible. Like we have to like every like
Totally.
black. Every mixed icon is black in America. You know, mixed
Yeah,
people are invisible. Like we're completely wiped out. Our history is wiped out. Or it's like they don't want us to exist whatsoever. You know, they want to
yeah,
just. So that's something we're fighting against. We're
and
like, yo, we exist too. Like,
yeah, and
so.
the thing about it is also it's like a vacuum. A lot of times when certain biracial or mixed people either do certain things, they just go by the phenotype of what they look like, and they'll be like, okay, well, a black individual did this. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Instead of actually identifying them as it is. But I'm gonna go back to what you said about the race thing. To me, this is my opinion. I could be completely wrong, but I feel like race, a lot of times, for the majority of the part, it's what's inside a person's mind. So you can literally be the darkest dark person out there and be the biggest racist,
It's
And
like internalized self-hatred. It's like internalized
exactly,
racism. Yeah, I
exactly.
agree. I
So
agree.
I see it like it's in people's minds instead of what physical characteristics um, you take. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, at the end of the day, it's just all ignorance. That's all it is.
It
It's
is.
just
Do you think it's like
ignorance.
a? It is. It is. I agree with you. Do you think it's like a
Um,
social construct? Like, is that how? Because I'm seeing like it's saying Puerto Rico complexion, not race, is only important, and it says like it's race is not important. Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. So you guys think that like how America has like race and stuff is like a social construct. It's not really like a. You guys agree?
Well,
What do you guys think about that?
yeah.
it is a social concept, to be honest. Like, there's only one race called the human race, but
Period.
if
Exactly.
but since we in America, because this is we're talking about in an American context, and we let's be honest, we somewhat view the world under an American lens.
Yeah.
um we have to, with that out the way, yeah, we have to go by the dynamics of what America does, and America is very race obsessed.
Yeah.
Very
And
much so.
because America is very race obsessed, unfortunately, we have to go by the dynamics under that race obsession. Now, when it comes to individuals like me and you, Jose, and mixed individuals who see it differently, who experience it differently, who didn't just experience it just the black side or the white side,
Exactly.
it throws a wrench into people's minds, and they're like, wait a minute, what? You're
Yeah.
introducing something different right now that
Exactly.
I never thought of. So now either two things is going to happen. Either I'm going to be curious to understand you, or I'm going to reject you. And a lot of times we get a lot of rejection.
Most of the time,
Okay.
yeah. Most of the time, it's facts.
Um,
It's speaking big facts.
excuse me if I could just cut in, but let's keep it 1,000. Okay. In this country, we have a problem dealing with people who are different. I mean, we can go back even before the birth of this nation. We can go back as far back as in the eastern, at least in the eastern portion of the United States, as far back as 1619, or if you want to go even further, like in the 16th century, in other parts of Latin America, where where certain groups were exploited and taken advantage of. I mean, that's a reality, and some of us, it's hard for us to accept that reality. What do you think, Radical?
That's absolutely true. Let's be honest. The mindset of America is what the inception was when the Pilgrims came here, the colonizers came here. They came here for one thing and one thing only, is to escape where they were coming from, but also to establish their own whiteness. Everything else was second. So they just wrote rules and lived a life all around that other sector of what being non-white is. So the fact that that scared mentality is still prevalent to this day shows that society, especially in white circles or in white America, and I'll probably say Black America too, but it's mostly white America.
Yeah,
That
and I hate that.
fear hasn't gotten away.
I agree, and I hate that they try to force like, oh, you have to claim a side or pick it to Dominicans or Puerto Ricans because y'all are really above us, like not above us, but ahead of us when it comes to like race relations. Because it's like if you guys are not really going by race, that's what we should strive for as Americans. Y'all are really like top, but people are trying to like take you backwards, and I don't think you should go backwards. I think that America needs to catch up to a lot of things. We're very behind, and but America has such a big ego, like, oh, we're the best at this and and they don't want to learn from other people. They don't want to learn from other people who are different, right? Because I'm like everybody, like I just want to do what works. So yeah, but I think that America, is really behind. Hi, 18th letter. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Magic Mulata? How you doing? Shout
It's
out
just
to
that
my
my
YouTube
computer's been
dad.
acting. Okay. Good evening, Rakim.
Shout out to my YouTube dad, Jose Negron. How you been doing?
Yo,
Hi.
yes.
Well, actually, last week was my birthday. I became 60 years old.
Happy birthday. Well, happy belated birthday.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Another year, another year wiser, another year of more experience, and the world keeps
Yeah,
turning.
yeah. Before I continue, let me just let everybody know that if you have not done so, please subscribe to the Radical Latino. Also subscribe to the 18th letter. Also, I saw the intro of Rico in the chat. If you have not done so, please check out his channel and check out the Blazing King. I'm sorry, guys. I always do this at every one of my streams. I've ever seen another YouTube creator.
Thank you.
I believe in
Thank you.
giving them the shout out.
Yeah, thank you. My bad, guys. I'm back. I got kicked off.
Oh,
over
let me
there.
say something to you, Radical. Because I was
Yeah.
saying how, you know, in Latin America, how they really don't go by race, how that's more, they're ahead of us when it comes to like race relationships. That be just more and more based on culture and national identity. I feel like America needs to adopt that. America's very behind on like those type of things. They're very still like in the 1800s, like when it comes to like race relations, how we think about things. So, what are some things that you wish America could adopt from like Latin America? Because I feel like there's a lot of things that I wish that we could, you know, adopt
Yeah.
that I like, you know.
Yeah. Well, let me be very very clear. Even though, in some sense, Latin America is, you know, it's more accepting with mixed race identity. Um, Racism, you know, still happens. You know, it hasn't gotten away. I want to just be very clear about that. Now, the thing is that when it comes to racism outside in Latin America, for the most part, it happens within social classes, and sometimes it does happen within skin color. Sometimes, but it usually happens within social classes. Now, with that out the way, if I'm going to be honest, what I think America should adopt from Latin America, I'm gonna say the neighbor camaraderie that Latin America usually has. It's pretty much stripped away here. Here is a mentality of dog eat dog.
Yeah,
I
it's
do
like
me.
individualism. It's like
Yeah,
just
yeah, exactly. I do me. Leave me the hell alone. Unless you live in a tight knit community. For example, there are plenty of black communities that are tight knit. Everybody knows each other. Same thing with Latin communities and same thing with white communities. But it's very rare to find in Latin America. For the most part, if you just move in, everybody in the neighborhood is gonna come and introduce themselves, even if you don't want to. They'll just come in. Hey, how you doing? Listen, if you need anything, I'm right over here. This and this and this. You'll end up knowing their life story more than they'll know yours. You know.
Okay.
But yeah,
Excuse me.
so it's usually like that. Yeah, go ahead,
Political
bro.
politics. Shout out to you. I mean, I didn't know you have a YouTube creator. I'm not trying to create hate, guy. Okay. I'm sorry, Red. Go ahead.
Nah, it's all good. So it's usually like that. That's what I feel like that America should adopt, because it's mostly, you know, capitalistic type of you know, leave me alone. I'll do battle by myself type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
I totally agree with that because I wish that we could become more accepting of mixed race identity. That's what I am trying to do. I'm trying to make sure like America is more accepting of us, and I want to be more like about collectivism. Like we want to collectivize and, you know, be able to be like a more tight knit and be able to like take care of people. And I like that. I love that so much. Like I totally agree with what you said so much. I agree.
Yeah, and just to be very very clear, in Latin America, a lot of people don't really think about their mixed race identity like that, because it's something that's like pretty like obvious. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, I'm mixed, you're mixed, everybody's mixed. Who cares, right? Why it's such an emphasis here is because, again, race is such a huge subject here that it's pretty much drilled inside you. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's the reason why it's like I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, and mixed people have a totally different experience here because we're so isolated. Because there was anti-miscegenation laws here for like 300 years since the 1600s. So it was outlawed and illegal for so long, and then it just got legalized in 1986 or 1967. And yeah, it's like a totally different experience because we're totally like isolated and alone. It's not that many of us, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like we don't really have like a community or, oh hey, we're all mixed. Like we don't really have that at all. It's like you're mixed by yourself, basically. Like yeah, so yeah, different. It's sad. I'm an activist. I'm a mixed people activists. I'm trying to change things, you know. So yeah, but yeah, if anybody want anything else to talk about, you know, I didn't want to make it about race tonight. I
Well,
swear, I was like, I don't want to
I
talk about
feel you.
race, but
yeah, I'll touch on that subject real quick because
okay.
one thing I think a lot of us don't understand when we think about America, we just think about it from the surface level point of view of our group. But a lot of the times we don't look into, of course, the one drop rule was something that Black Americans didn't establish. That was something
Oh,
that
please.
white society established to be able to separate themselves completely, to be able to have control of absolute power. Um,
Yes, thanks.
um, and of course, even in incidents of it being like, because with mixed race people, they can go one of three ways, and it depends if they have both a parent of two different races that both acknowledge their racial background and their racial history and teach them to be proud of both, then then they'll just be mixed race in that sense. But some mixed race people, they identify more with their black side, because me personally, I've heard stories of mixed race people being treated terribly by their white side, and so they identify more with their black side more. And in some cases, you have some mixed race people that feel like they don't fit in with their black side, so they identify more so with their white side and different things like that. Because we know, especially me personally, and it's just my personal opinion, I've seen black people more accepting of mixed race people, but I do know it's problems. It comes to jealousy from the girls, or people trying to attack you because you're mixed race, and they feel insecure and jealous. Their
Because we're
mothers.
the light skinned zaddies.
That's
Yeah,
exactly. But
no,
it's okay.
because a lot of the times too, their mothers never taught them. A lot of the times their mothers never taught them to have pride in who they are, so they're jealous or they insecure because they feel like the mixed race girl got a boy that they wanted. And and of course it's jokes for the young boys and different things like that. But I haven't seen anything extreme. But in my personal opinion too, I think like a lot of the times too, um because we don't bring up this whole race thing when it comes to. I feel like people respect it more when they're completely shut out of something, and there's a lot of people that know that
Facts.
they're completely shut out of white society, so they don't try to even address it.
Yeah. But
Versus,
I heard some dumb shit sometimes. I be hearing like girls, oh, she thinks she cute because she light skinned. I'm like, where the
Yeah,
fuck you got that from?
the
it's
thing
insecurities. It's
no, things are
insecurities.
changing nowadays. Because me personally, I was very black identified my whole life. Because I'm like, I'm not white, so obviously I'm black, right? And so I identified as I was very pro black. I was very like super black. I'm all about blackness, and I can't. I don't have that option anymore because so many people have come out against mixed people. You're not black. You can't. You're not black. So how am I going to
Mm.
identify as something I'm not anymore? So I have to
Oh, so you
mix,
think I was feeling you? Now let me stop. That's what
right?
that's what you say. That's what you say now. Oh, you think no? Let me stop. No,
No,
but
but
it's
yeah, I
true.
don't
It's
have
true.
that
No, it's
option to
true.
identify as black
It
anymore. Like that's things are changing. You know, most
yeah,
people are
it's
like
true. It's
black people
true.
want to gatekeep. They want to make sure like their image is protected. They want to make sure they're we they don't want mixed people representing their movements. They don't want mixed people representing their beauty and like they don't want mixed people representing them in Hollywood. They want actual monoracial black people representing who and I
Yeah.
respect that. And I'm like I
No,
respect black people
it's
enough to have my own
it's
lane
true.
and
And
represent myself.
the thing is like I'm not. That's the thing that Latin America needs to change a little bit more. In Latin America, the media and some of the movies are pretty much just whitewashed, and I just got to keep it 1,000. That's what it is. It is changing little by little. There's a lot more representation of darker skin, even mixed people. You know what I mean? There's a
Good.
lot more representation now, but it's changing little by little. It hasn't changed all the way, but it is changing little by little. Just going to the Dominican Republic, over there, I felt like I was back in the Bronx, and not trying to shit on the Bronx. I'm just saying it felt
Thank you.
because I was shut up. I was because I was surrounded by brown or black individuals. You know what I mean? And to be honest, I felt comfortable there. I felt right back at home. You feel what I'm saying? When I come back here, it's usually white, 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 white. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So
And I think,
so
oh, go ahead, Rad.
no,
I'll
no,
wait till
no,
you
no, no,
finish.
no, no. Real quick, and the thing is that just the feel of belonging. As someone like biracial mix, I understand where that belonging sense comes from. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yep.
And
Yep.
I wanted to say like with what Rad and Magic Mulatto was saying, because I know one of the things now is because you see a lot of people, and a lot of the times, let's not get it confused. This thing is exaggerated online because I have cousins in my family is mixed race, and they just looked at as black. They just looked at as black, within our family and different things like that. So, but it has been a history of white society using mixed race people to elevate them over uh, people that are monoracial black people, and that has been known because, of course, you
No, that
have
was
white.
conspiracy. Look, this is what it was. I did like a bit live about it. It was mixed people. They were considered the black elites for a long time, like W.D. Bois, Booker T. Washington. Those are like mixed race people. They were considered like the talented,
Radical Latino.
right? So guess what mixed race people started doing? This is where the problem fell in because they were like, oh, we're gonna send mixed race light skinned people to colleges so they could get information, so they could be good representatives for black people, so they could bring the information back to the black community. But it's problematic because it's like they're putting their own like mixed people are our own people. Like, of course, we're putting our own people before anybody. Like black Latinos do it, black people do it. All people want to put their own people before anybody else. That's
Well, a
problematic.
lot of historically black
Right?
people
They
haven't
were
really put
identifying
themselves
as
first.
black. They were identifying as black because of the one drop rule. So that's where I'm like, no, that's why we got to get rid of the one drop rule. It's like we should just identify as mixed, so we're not feeling like we have to put ourselves above black. We could just put our own people. We don't have to step on black people. We don't have to step on nobody else to like lift ourselves up. Because that's it caused like the Blue Vein Society back in the day. It would cause a lot of problems. It caused a lot of colorism because they were identifying as black, but they were only wanting to be around people who are like them, who are like light skinned and like who are mixed like them. So it caused a lot of issues and divide in the black community. Because I'm like, oh, how are y'all one of us? How are you claiming you're black, but you're only, being around other mixed people? Like they don't, and it caused a lot of issues. But I'm like, if they were just identifying as mixed from the jump, if they're allowed to like just identify as mixed from the jump, it wouldn't cause no issues. Because I'm like, okay, you're gonna be around just like black people want to be around black people, mixed people want to be like Latino, like there's nothing wrong with that, right? So that's
But
why I
see,
think like it caused a lot of problems.
yeah, and I would say one thing I would say because I gotta defend my people for a quick second. I don't think a lot of black people created this situation where they just want to be around black people. I think it has historically been where black is at the bottom of the totem pole, and they're used to getting crapped on by everybody to elevate themselves. And even in that situation where you talked about the Blue Vein Society, the paper brown bag test, and
It's just fucked up.
different things like that. Because I even saw a documentary where it was talking about the Creoles of New Orleans, and they were saying, oh, we didn't really go. And I notice it's the same argument that comes from a lot of people, because the same argument that I hear from other groups that would say, oh, we don't really go by race. It was the same thing that was saying with the Creoles of New Orleans, but a lot of the times they crapped on monoracial black people too,
People
and
are
they
tribalistic.
elevated them.
People are tribalistic at the end of the day. Like we can't escape from that. That's human
Yeah, but
nature.
see, but the funny that you're absolutely right. People are tribalistic, but when black people make that arguments, everyone's saying black people are the ones complaining when they know deep down inside that they're the ones that's being tribalistic and they're the ones that's being
Everybody's
separatist. And
tribalistic. I think everybody is. I don't think
but the
nobody.
funny and I would say the funny thing about that situation is that people are tribalistic when it comes to getting accepted. Like we know white people to be the most tribalistic, but if white people are offering an extended hand, most people are willing to accept that hand because they want to be as close to white adjacent as possible, so they don't want to be at the bottom.
Wait,
Excuse
what?
me.
Hold on. What'd you say about being one? I don't agree with like. Okay, this is something that I never agreed with. Like wanting to be as close to whiteness as possible. Like that's something that I want to be. No, I don't care about being accepted by white people like at all. Like, that's something I don't care about. That's something I just don't.
Excuse me if I can just chime in. Radical, do you wish to respond to this comment on
What
the
what does
screen?
what does it say?
It says, Radical, I hate to say it, but you sound traumatized. How you only feel comfortable because with people here, black and brown. You won't like the campo here in Santiago then.
No, I'm not traumatized. Is that I went to a place that That's my people, and
Okay.
it's part of my culture, and I felt at home. That's all it was.
Okay.
But
Radical.
before, oh yeah, go ahead, because I gotta go. Go ahead. What's up?
Okay. Now, have you been following the situation with the refugees or the asylum seekers being bused in New York? Have you have an opinion regarding that issue?
I have no opinion because I don't know about it. I was gonna actually plan on learning a little bit more about it this weekend, but you could give me a crash course. What's up?
Basically, what happens is you have people that, for whatever set of reasons, are leaving countries like Venezuela and other countries. What happened is they're ending up be in Texas and in Florida. So what the governors has done, they've shipped these people by bus to
To
states
Martha's Vineyard and stuff like that.
basically where they consider blue states like New York,
Yeah.
California, and Illinois.
Oh. Yeah, I know about that situation. Like you asking what are my thoughts on that?
Yeah,
Well, again, once you have my thoughts is it is what it is. These are just political people using immigrants, and unfortunately, it's the majority of our people as pawns in this political game. It is what it is. I don't like the fact that our people are being used in a political chess piece game like that. But at the end of the day, it's not really gonna move the scale any which way. It is what it is. You know
yeah.
what I mean? But before I go, I want to ask the magical mulata something.
Yeah.
I've been in certain light skin light skin circles, so light
You
skin
EU, Exoticals United. I remember you did a live with her one time, a long time
oh
ago.
yeah, of course.
Mhm.
So like I've been in certain light skin circles and certain light skin spaces.
I'm not
It's
really a
some
light skin circle though. I'm like a mixed person. Like I'm pro mix.
well, that's what I mean, like mixed
Mhm.
circles and stuff. So what I found was certain people will accept Latinos because we are multiracial or biracial. We're mixed, and some people will not because according to them, we're not like American mixed or whatever the case is. So what are your thoughts on that?
Me personally, I'm very inclusive. I'm very inclusive. I love hearing, like I said, I love hearing different people's perspective on things. I love learning about different cultures and different, experiences with different cultures. So of course, I'm gonna be very inclusive on my platform. Of course, of all mixtures. I'm inclusive of all mixtures because because in America, in America, I think all mixed people should be uniting to make sure people are accepting mixed people. If they're Blasian, if they're like Latino, if they're whatever your mixture is, all of it's not respected. So all of us should be coming together to fight to make sure that our identity is respected and that we can claim being mixed and be able to be mixed and proud without people thinking that we are trying to get away from our blackness or being self-hating or whatever. So that's
Yeah,
my platform. So that's my personal stance on that. Of course, I'm gonna include Jose is always on my platform. Every live I do, Jose be jumping. I think he has a great perspective on things. I really appreciate Jose, and that's why I'm here to support him as well. So yeah, anybody's really welcome on my platform.
gotcha.
Just
Oh, okay.
hmm
All right, cool. Thank you very much. I'm gonna definitely check your platform out.
Yeah, I would love to
Um,
invite you if you want to come up there one day and have a conversation. I would love to have a conversation about being mixed and like I like what political is saying, how they care more about values and I'm like that is very interesting. I would love to like
yeah.
more how that
Hit me
works.
up on Instagram and we could set something up.
All right, perfect. It'd be
You know
awesome.
what I mean?
Okay, good talking to you. Have a good
All right,
day.
thank you. All right, peace, guys. All right,
Take
bye.
care, Radical.
All right, thank you, Jose. Peace.
Okay.
But yeah, 18th
So
letter. Okay, hold on. I got something to say to him too. So when it comes to look, me, I'm all about having a positive relationship with the black community. If we're mixed people and black people don't really like view themselves in us, but we could view ourselves in black people because we like as a mixed person, I experience both sides. Sorry, my daughter. Hold on. But I'm experienced both sides, so I truly do view black and white people as equal.
Yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying. And one thing that's not covered too, even within the mixed community, I have seen incidents of hierarchies where I've seen mixed people that are more European passing kind of getting kind of like looking down on people that are more unambiguous looking mixed, you can say, like especially if they're mixed with two
That's
people that are
wrong.
kind of
I don't think skin
that's dark.
color
And
is
you've
wrong.
like a lot of mixed people have already had their separation going. I'll be lying to say if I've not seen it. They've had their own magazines and different things like that.
Here, what
For
magazine? I would love to know.
you never heard of Mixed Magazine before?
No, put me
You
on.
can
I've been
Google
wanting.
it.
I would love to know about that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Mixed Magazine.
Oh yeah, I want to look that up. But yeah, I think that colorism and stuff, I think it's a mindset, just like racism, how it's passed down. Like I'm so grateful to my mother's black and my dad's white. So I'm so grateful they never taught me about colorism. Like, oh, you're better because you're light skinned or you're better because I'm so grateful to them that they never taught me nothing like that because I don't view nothing like that. I am like how cultural political says I'm more about values and character. Like that was beaten to my brain. Like MLK, you got to judge them by the character, the content of their character, not the. That was beaten into my brain as like a kid, right? So that's something I really do support. I don't really believe in judging people by their skin color. Me as a mixed person, I don't agree with like the racial hierarchy shit. I don't agree with white people being on top and everybody else. I don't view white people as like they may have their own things going on. They got good things. That's cool, but I don't view them as any better than nobody else. Like I really don't like ever. So I don't really try to like be more associated with whiteness because it makes me feel like I'm higher up on a hierarchy. Like I don't. I think that whole hierarchy thing's all made up by white people, and I think it's a false belief. I don't believe in it at all. So yeah.
And I can definitely respect your opinion. I can definitely respect your opinion on that because I think a lot of us, when we have um, these racial debates amongst each other, a lot of us don't look at the big picture on who. Like a lot of people just don't even look to even speak about white people because they know they're automatically shut out. A lot of people know if they go through a lot of these different neighborhoods, they'll stick out like a sore thumb. So they chose to keep it amongst other groups that they feel like they're on the level they can compete with. Me personally, I
Mm.
think me being a black American, our people have a very, very deep history with white Americans in this country, and they're pretty much an adversarial history. I'm not saying we don't have people that are friends of ours that are white. Of course, we have, and there's good white people out there. I'm just talking about based off of history, and me personally being a truck driver, I go to a lot of different white communities and different areas, and you can feel. And I'm not saying this. Like I know people like to throw that victim mindset around and different things like that. I'm saying from personal experience, you can feel the tension. You can feel when people are standoffish, and you just know when you feel that vibe that you're not really welcome. You know that.
Me personally, look, I'll always be an ally to the black community, always, because I'm half black. Of course, I'm perceived as black too. If people walk down the street, they're gonna look at me as black, and I have no problem with that. It's cool, but I know that I'm mixed at the end of the day. But that's the thing, because we've always there's a history of mixed people being going hard for the black community, and then it makes us sad. It makes us kind of feel like why are our mixed identities respected by the black community? Because it's like if we claim that we're mixed, it's like looked down on. It's like, oh, you're not one of us. Like, but mixed people have, like, especially black and white, like mulatto people, there's a long history. I can tell you a long history. A lot of people who are mulatto mixed have been trying to advance the black community, have been putting in work to try to help the black community and do all this work and stuff. And then
no,
it's
I
like,
definitely
why is
agree.
it not
I definitely
respected?
agree.
I just want us, like, we could be able to claim our identity and be respected. That's all. We want to be respected in the black community as mixed people. We don't have to, so yeah.
Yeah, and I think too because uh I'm not denying that at all. It definitely has been a history of mixed people that have pushed forth the black community. They was definitely considered black. But like I was just gonna go back to the Creoles. I forgot the name of the guy who started the movement for to not really ride the bus or anything like that. I forgot his name because he was actually excluded. I looked this up. He actually was told to get to the back of the bus once the United States kind of took over the Louisiana system, and that Creole thing no longer existed anymore. And but he said, he thought he was above black people, so he said, "I'm mixed. I'm Creole. I don't have to sit in the back of the bus." And they was like, "Nah, you
No,
need to
they
get to
don't
the
fucking
back.
know.
You need to get to the back of the bus." That's
White
when,
people. Yeah, and
unfortunately, you know,
white people, look, the one drop rule started in Creole society because they mixed people started having their own society down there or whatever. And so all the white immigrants came over and they wanted to take power. So they said, okay, you are
black. Like you had, they pushed it out into the black community because they wanted to, the immigrants, they wanted to identify as white and establish themselves in power. So they didn't want like mixed people to have like their own community. They wanted to like kind of just push them out and be like, no, you're. So that's how the one drop rule started. So just so like you know how immigrants, when it was first like, oh, I'm Italian, I'm Irish, I'm German, I'm this. So they got the one drop rule started. Oh, we're all white, so we're all working together. So that's how that whole started. And I
Yeah.
denounce
Later
it
on, that was later.
because it's based on white supremacy. And just like I can't escape my blackness, I can't escape my whiteness either. I'm half white at the end of the fucking day. Like that's what white people, they try to deny my identity as well. Like, oh, you're not one of us, But I can't deny the fact that my father is white. Like he's white. Like I can't. So that's why I'm like I'm a
Yeah,
choose
and
both
it's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just that
sides.
I just noticed within these arguments, I never really see anybody directing anything towards the people that created this whole system. That's the thing that gets me. It's always
I fight against that shit. I'm like, no, I don't believe in this white supremacy BS nonsense. I think it's not good for nobody. I don't believe that nobody should just, because it's like, I don't agree with it because it's like they don't want people to have agency over themselves. They want to govern other people. Like that's whack. Like no, black people should be able to have agency and govern their own community, their own selves, and mixed people they should be able to govern their own identity. Not white people tell them, oh, you're this or you're that, and have make up rules about how I should identify. Like I don't like that. I don't want nobody else trying to put themselves above us. Like no, we're all human at the end of the day. Like we're all fucking human. We all are children of God, and we all deserve to have our own agency over how we are, over who we are. Like how white people try to make up narratives about black people and tell their own like the woman king, like that's like a bunch of white women telling black people stories. Like I don't agree with that. I think black people should be able to tell their own stories. Mixed people should be able to tell their own stories in their own perspective. And then white people, y'all should just tell your own stories from your own perspective, not speak for other groups of people, right? Because they try to have power and authority over other groups of people. I don't like that. I'm definitely against this white supremacy nonsense. I don't, and that's why we're allies. Black community, mixed people, we are both against white supremacy, 100%. Like we're
and I know
allies.
this is going to sound crazy, but because like even with myself, I just never really thought about mixed people as being like super like I said, I got mixed people within my family, and I just view them as black. I don't really view them as, and I
It's
don't
the
know, maybe
internet.
it's
The internet changed the game. Yeah. No, I'm telling you, it's the internet because I identified as black, going about my regular everyday life, viewing myself as black and whatnot. But when I come online and I be in black spaces, this topic is brought up a lot. Oh, biracial people are not black. They're not black. They're not black. They're not black.
and
I'm
my
like, wow,
first really my first
okay. Internet thing.
experiencing that
It's
was
internet.
with Chrissy.
Chrissy, yeah,
Yeah,
like
that was
me.
my first experience that, and a lot of people don't even realize that which I can't stand her because I feel like she's a fraud and she completely manipulates her audience for money. Same thing with Paris Milan, but she first started talking about the colorism thing, and then she started talking
Mhm.
about mixed women are elevated, which I don't disagree to an extent, but the way she did it, she kept trying to say she wasn't being what you call that, divisive, but in reality she was doing it in a different way with her wording. That's all. And
Mhm.
she
Yeah,
was
I used to
making it
see it
where
a
her
lot.
audience were
Mhm.
attacking biracial people, and because she was profiting off a lot of black women's pain and
For
confusion
real.
and
And that's how the
insecurities.
whole golden sphere started. It was because mixed people were pushed out of black spaces online.
Yeah.
So that's why they started creating their own spaces. And
And now everything is separated because after that, then she started focusing her attentions on black men, and black
yeah.
men became the most evil, colorist, diabolical. And then when people seen that it was a profit online into bashing black
Mhm.
men, then that's when you and see this has been going on with black men for decades before the internet.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
like, but I'm talking because I'm more so in my middle age now, so
Mhm.
I can remember the '90s talk shows. I can remember The Color Purple, Waiting to Exhale, all of
Mhm.
these different movies that created this trope that black men are the most evil, demonic people on earth. When in
Mhm.
reality, a lot of these women just really wanted they was jealous because they wanted to be able to date out at the rate that black men they felt were
They
dating
do.
out, and they felt like they wasn't accepted and a lot of them had what you call Miss Ann syndrome, where they wanted to be elevated at the top like white women, and they resented
Mhm.
black men for not being able to put them in that way. And as you can see, it's going off the Richter scales. It went from black men are colorists to practically almost damn near neo-Nazi hate speech when it comes to
Hmm.
when it comes to black men from our counterparts.
Mhm.
And
And me
Chrissy,
personally, yeah,
Okay.
me personally, I gotta mind my biracial business on that because when it comes to black men and black women, it's like, yeah, I try to see both sides on the issues. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm very neutral on that. Because I'm like, of course, I'm part black. I want to see, black love, black people coming together. I support that, and it's like there's a long history of, betrayal. There's a long history of just so many things that have brought you guys to this point, where it's like a gender war or whatever, and I try to just mind my business on it because that's between black men, black issues between black men and black women are only going to be fixed by YouTube, by you guys, and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. Oh,
I
hold on,
want to
sorry.
say shout.
Yeah, I just wanted to welcome Keisha to the chat. Good
Okay.
evening. Keisha, if you want to join the panel, if you're able, the link is there. And I just want to let everybody know that Keisha has her own YouTube channel called One on FaceTime. She goes live every Saturday night. So, if you haven't had an opportunity, please check out her channel. I'm sorry. Go ahead, guys.
Oh, okay. I was saying about how it's sad because it's like I feel like black men and I think you guys both do the same thing. To me, it's like the same thing. It's like, okay, sometimes black men, they want to get with white women to get back at black men for hurting them. And then sometimes black women, they want to get with a white man to try to get back at them. So that's kind of like how I see it. Sometimes I'm like, you guys are I feel like you guys just want to like, throw it in each other's faces sometimes. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get me somebody else. Cause fuck you. I don't like you anyways. And it's sad. I'm like, oh, it's sad because as a biracial person, yeah, they're going to create more biracial people. And I don't feel like it should be out of hatred of your counterpart. You know what I'm saying? Like my mom and my dad, they came together out of like proximity. It was like, okay, they just knew each other. My mom doesn't hate black men. My dad doesn't hate white women. It's nothing like that, So I just wish that people could just come together. If they genuinely do like somebody that's outside of their race, like it's genuine. It's not like, oh, I'm trying to get with them. So because fuck these black men, or I'm trying to get this white woman because fuck these black women. And I think that's really sad, and I don't like that. And yeah, it's sad to me.
Yeah. I just want to say shout out to Kishelle. Shout out to you, K Fit. What's up, girl? Um, First and foremost, I would say I don't. My personal opinion. I don't want to say I'm biased, but I may be a little bit biased. But based off of from what I've seen, because I've been online since the beginning of all of this stuff, and I don't believe that it's black men. I think a lot of the times black men are defending themselves, but from the outside looking in, if you were watching, then it can look like it's both. But I've never heard any of the negative things that comes from the other side spewed the way a lot of these women spew online. I mean, a black man can just be minding his business. I mean, and a perfect example of that is Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant never said anything negative about black women. Kobe Bryant was married to Vanessa, who was a Latina, and when he died, you had these women online dancing on this man's grave and said it was because he
Oh,
didn't
Kevin
date.
Samuels. Mm.
I don't believe Kevin Samuels was as nasty as people say he is. I think people are upset because Kevin Samuels actually had a voice and he was influencing a lot of men, and he was not one of those men that will shut up, because I think a lot of women within our community are used to being able to run the men, and they're used to uh, a lot of the men shutting up, and
Yeah,
he
I
was not
didn't
one of
like
those people.
Kevin Samuels personally. I didn't think he was like a good because he was trying to like he said he was trying to help women, but to me, I was like, I don't think you're really trying to help women. That was me, but I just didn't watch him. I'm not gonna sit here and like, but I'm not gonna celebrate somebody's death. But I just didn't watch him. I was like, this is not for me. I don't really like this content, so I'm just not gonna watch him. And that's it. You just somebody's saying something you don't like, you just don't watch them and you keep it moving. So
Oh,
that's
And I would say
okay.
this. I
Excuse
would
me.
say
I'm
this with
sorry.
that. Um, my boy Ramon, introvert Borico, can attest to that. Kevin Samuel started hard. He was going hard on men, He was originally going hard on men, and that's what people don't understand. And men, men got it way worse. I think that it's just a lot of people that, especially like a lot of women, that if you critique them, they feel like it's an attack based off of emotion. Where men can understand the difference between a critique and insult, and a
Yeah,
lot
there's
of
some.
women
Oh yeah,
and
there's
a lot
something
of
I
women
think.
just didn't like what he was what he was saying, and they just didn't like it. But even after his death, you had women that were of different groups that attest to, hey, this man saved my marriage. This man, made me look in the mirror. He made me evaluate myself to see what I was doing wrong that could have been purposely harming my relationship. He don't have a million point 600,000 subscribers for nothing. I'll put it that way. And not all of those are men. It's quite a number of those that are women.
Excuse me. I just want to welcome to the panel the Inchworigua and my union sister, Kisha. Good evening, guys.
Hi
Good
guys.
evening. Hey,
Hello.
good evening, Jose. How you guys doing? Hey, Magic.
Hi.
My guy Joaquin,
How
what's
you guys
going on?
doing?
Hey, I'm doing okay, doing all right. Hey, Kichel, let your voice be heard. Oh, can't hear you. Yeah, but you you guys keep going.
Oh, okay, but I want to say about Kevin Samuels. So yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, he was going hard for the men and stuff. And here's my thing about anybody. This could go towards any group, anybody. If accountability offends you, you're not gonna be able to get nowhere. You know, if that offends you, like
Mhm.
taking accountability and like having some self reflection and being able to like look at yourself, like that could be towards men, women, anybody, any group. If accountability is something that offends you, you know, that's you're not gonna get nowhere, you know. But I do gotta say good about Kevin Samuels. I do like that he was like be fit, feminine, friendly. I think that's doable. I think that's achievable. You know, I really do. I don't think that's too much of a high standard or nothing. I think being, you know, working on yourself, working your body, you know, embracing your femininity and being trying to be friendly and having a good personality. I think those are that's achievable. You know, I think that's something that is doable. So I do like that right there. So yeah.
No, I personally didn't agree with every single thing that he was saying, but like Rakim said, when it comes to accountability for men, putting men to task, criticizing men, the man was going hard, much harder than he did with women. A lot of women were very butthurt and they were very in their feelings because they were getting a little bit of criticism for him. But the whole criticism thing, he was way worse with men. I mean, you have to look out to look at some of the streams that he did back 3 years ago or so. I mean, he was. I have seen a couple of them, and he was going hard. I felt scolded like I was a kid or something because he was sometimes
Absolutely.
Yeah, nobody's above criticism, right? Nobody is above criticism. So
And
it's hard to take. You know, it is hard to take. It takes a very mature
yeah.
person to, because sometimes you got to be careful with criticism too, because it you got to be careful about, you know, criticism sometimes too, because it's like, is
Mhm.
this gonna, you got to be discerning when it comes to things, because sometimes people just want to criticize everything about you, and nothing will ever be good enough. We've all experienced that, where it's like no matter what I do, it's never good enough, right? So you got to be careful about, you know, is this
and
gonna really benefit me, and you got to be careful about it. So I did think when it comes to Kevin Samuels, like some things I was like, okay, that's a good valid criticism, I do like that, but some things I was like, I don't really like that. You know, I don't really think that's coming from a good place. I don't really think that's going to benefit women. That's not really going to. So you got to be discerning about everything, right? So yeah.
one thing I would say too, based off our previous conversation, like of course I love black women, man, but I love the black women that love me. I have no love for. I'm not one of these people that would continue to show love when you pretty much look down on me and you view me through the same lens as a white supremacist. I can't. That person, that person is opposition. You're the type of person that will set me up to get killed by a white supremacist if you could. And a lot of what you see online from, and so many channels that I can count on my finger. I mean, I can run out of channels to count on both of my hands. You have Chrissy, you got Paris Milan, you got Real Talk with Yanni, you got Lexus Exodus, you got Mahogany Pink, you got the Divested Zealot, you got Cerebral, you have what's up, the Pink Pill, you have what's the other girl's name? So many these different divestment channels that are out here just spewing hate speech against black men to pretty much for profit, for money. And I have not seen that from the manosphere. The closest thing, the only thing these women ever bring up is Tommy Sotomayor, and these women are way, way worse than Tommy Sotomayor that you can ever imagine.
Okay.
And
I'm sorry, Rakim. I just want to bring Kishal into the conversation. Kishal, if you're able to speak, go ahead. I'm sorry, Rakim.
Hi, yeah, I guess my connection wasn't really strong, but good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me on your panel, Jose.
You're welcome.
I'm trying to catch up to what we're talking about. So it sounds like we're talking about relationships in the African American community, or we're talking about different types of cultures, relationships right now.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
a little mixture of both.
So
Yeah.
what I got to say about that, I feel you on like, because I feel you on like you can only love people who love you, because I can relate to that, because there's so many people who are like anti-mix and hate mixed people. Like, how can I sit there and love somebody who don't love me? So if anybody's against me, how can I sit there and like, against my
Right.
existence, against me, and speaking down and trying to hate on me? Like, I could totally relate to that. And like I said, I don't got no dog in the fight between black men and black women. I'm rooting for both of y'all. I love both of y'all, and I want both of y'all to come together and be united. And I'm rooting for both of y'all. Like, that's how I feel. I got to mind my business on that, because there's nothing I can say to like help the situation, because you can only heal from within it. It's between black men and black women to come together to fix their issues and come together. So yeah.
No, like I was just making a point on how women like Chrissy are are there to engage. She knows her audience is stupid. Unfortunately, she know that a lot of the times her audience is just outright stupid, or a lot of them they just hold on to every word she says. So she used that to manipulate her audience for cash apps and super chats, just like Paris Milan and different people like that. And first it goes from colorism, then it goes to the divestment situation, then it goes to, like, she ease in and out of subjects to keep those talking points up, to be able to keep money coming in, because a lot of these people are living off of YouTube. This is their bread and butter. If a lot of these channels stop today, and that's why it's gotten to the point where, and it doesn't matter what it is, because some people are so hung up on the money that it's gotten to the point that you cannot have an honest conversation.
I agree. There
Because
needs to be open dialogue. There needs to be people coming together and actually talking about real issues and trying to like solve it, and not to be solution oriented and not just dashing. Yeah, I agree.
yeah, absolutely. Because when it comes down to um, this situation, like, as far as it's not about, it's just about the money. So people are going to continue to put out rage content and pretty much hate speech for money. This is like, it's almost like what you will see with a what's that white supremacist guy named Spencer, and people like that. People pay these people within the white community to spew hate speech. So that's how they make their bread and butter. So people like that, they
Yeah.
don't have the best,
But
intentions.
I do see that on the other side too. You got people like Minister Jap and like Angry Man, and they're like, oh yeah, I do see it both sides. Like, I see it on both sides. That's why I'm like, it's not just one sided. It's like a two-side thing. So that's why I'm like,
No,
it's
I don't really watch Minister Jap like that. I've seen a couple of his videos.
I don't watch
I
him, but I
watch
see.
I have watched Angry Man, but I will say this: the things that I've heard Minister Jap and Angry Man say doesn't equate to these things these women say. These women are talking about eugenics, like Cynthia G.
I've heard that
Um,
on the platform. I heard somebody come on the platform one time. I was watching it, and he was like, "We need to breed these bitches out of existence and shit." I've heard him say shit like that. So it's like, I feel like it's on both sides. That's why I'm like, I'm not gonna pick a side
no,
on
no,
this. Like,
no. I'm not saying you might not have an individual within that is extreme within their subscribers and everything. I'm talking about, like, the content creators. Like, I've never seen Minister Jap with somebody hanging from a noose on their channel. I never seen different things like that. And the stuff, I think, based off from what I've heard, the women are way, way extreme. Way extreme.
There's a lot of crazy extremism in these YouTube streets.
Yeah, and I'll say this because I want to give everyone else a chance to talk, but YouTube is filled with the people that you was told to avoid in real life. It's filled with a lot of hurt people, a lot of traumatized people, a lot of people that are just not mentally well, and that's the problem. That is
Yeah.
the problem because everyone has a voice that shouldn't have a voice. Some of these people, you just want to take their microphone, you want to give them a 360 spin and tell them to go stand in that corner.
Period. I was talking about Jose earlier. I was like, with positivity, if you're trying to be positive, do something good, trying to help people, trying to speak about whatever, it's not really, you don't get that much attention. But if you're trying to be negative, and like we said, people make money off of negativity, draws a lot of attention. So that draws a lot of money. So people are going to stay negative because that's going to draw a lot of money coming in for them. They're not going to want to try to do some positive stuff and get less views and get less money. So it's crazy how things are set up. It really is.
And that'll tell you a lot. That'll tell you a lot about their personal lives because if you feel like you got to do that much for money, it goes to show you like who that person is.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me, I just want to bring Keisha into the conversation. She hasn't had much of an opportunity to speak, and then I would like to have Ramon to chime in. Keisha, go ahead.
Thank you, Jose. I think, at the end of the day, as far as, in present time, going back to, past times, regarding relationships and stuff like that you guys were mentioning, gender roles and pronouns and, no disrespect to no communities and everything, like things are just so different now, so it's like, to each his own. I understand those people that just want to be single and they don't want to date because it's just so much of a stress with dating in 2022. And even relationships and marriages are different. They're open marriages now. We have swingers now. And, sex is still so loose and vivacious and advertised everywhere. So I don't know if you got someone at home that respects you and loves you, takes care of you, have things the way you want it, or, you have a good relationship, hold on to that person. And if you're looking for someone, good luck to you. But I think dating and, that whole dynamic of the household and, sexuality and, that is so different now from where I grew up in the 80s and 90s and what I saw. So I guess that will evolve by the time our children are older. And to comment on like the race and the gender thing, in my family, I definitely saw a lot of the men, date outside the African American community, the light skinned women with the nice, pretty hair, light eyes. I saw that a lot in school, so that's always been something for me that, I saw in my neighborhood or areas of life. And I think today, things are changing a little bit, now everyone wants this woman with this Coca-Cola body with no waist and a BBL butt and big boobs and everything is just so super sexual right now. So I don't think there's a lot of, serious relationships based on love and trust. It's more like attraction and the physical right now. But thank you for letting me allow to make a comment about everything I heard.
That's a great point. I love all your points. Great point.
Thank you.
Okay. Ramon, do you wish to comment?
Well, there are different things that are being touched on, so I'm kind of like trying to use a couple of the things that Kishel was mentioning right now, and also what Rakim was mentioning. The Kishel was mentioning when it comes to dating and relationship today, maybe because I'm a little older and I'm just a little bit more settled down. And I do have somebody special in my life, so I'm not really out there dating like that. And sometimes I feel for the younger people that are coming up, that are trying to figure out this madness that is called the dating scene, and I feel for them, but also that's something that they will have to figure out. They will have to figure it out. They will have to really think about what is it that they want, how they want to proceed in the dating scene, because like it was mentioned before, I think it was you, Jose, the internet and apps and social media can be used for good, but it can also be detrimental to society. And when people can get together and hook up, and people are not really taking the time to interact with each other and getting to know each other the way that we used to before there was social media, then it can be detrimental towards having quality relationships when it comes to the dating scene. Also, Michelle mentioned something about the pronouns. I don't play the pronoun game. Call me antiquated. Call me some kind of phobe about it or something like that. But to me, because of the generation that I'm from, I'm a Generation X. In Generation X, we were not playing that pronoun game. I mean, it was yes, there was lesbian already. We already knew about things like homosexuality and lesbianism. When I was a little kid, my own beloved late mother mentioned that to me, but she only mentioned it one time, left it at that. After that, I figured it out on my own. People can have an alternative lifestyle when it comes to the sexuality and things like that. But when it comes to the whole pronoun game, it goes back to the labels. It goes back to all of this label game that the society that we live in here in the States has an obsession with forcing on people. The whole label thing, the labels, and kind of like with the racial thing. Also, when it comes to their personal lifestyles and trying to force other people to adopt ways to refer to people to practice alternative lifestyles. I mean, if somebody is with somebody of the same gender, they can either be gay or they can be lesbian, and that's as far as I'm gonna go with it. There is no such. I'm gonna be controversial right now. There is no such thing as a transgender. That's a recent thing. I can respect somebody who is a transvestite, because that's what it really is. Those that claim to be transgender and they want to use it as an excuse to enter the public restroom that they are not supposed to get into. I mean, those are creeps, those are perverts, those are trying to commit some type of abuse, to commit a crime. That's how I see it. I mean, and there are even conservative people that are part of the rainbows that have called it out certain types that want to become so-called transgenders, and it's really a dude with a dress that want to enter the ladies room, and they don't want to be stopped from doing that. Those guys that do that, they need to be put in prison, because it's not only women that could be put in jeopardy, in danger, also little girls, and that shouldn't be acceptable. Definitely, I can actually appreciate the fact that doesn't fly down here where I'm at, even though you do see people that practice alternative lifestyles. But I don't play. I will not play the pronoun game. I mean, people have biological genders. Call me antiquated. Call me a name if you want to, but that's how I see it. And people have biological genders, and that's what I go for.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm just going
Oh, let me say one thing about that real quick, and then I gotta go eat dinner. So, I gotta go eat dinner. But I want to say one thing about that. So I think the pronoun thing is really messy, because where I work with a lot of like young people, they're like teenagers and stuff. And one of them, it said something really interesting to me. She was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a woman, but I don't identify as a woman." Okay, and I don't identify as a woman, but I was still like, she said she wanted to be a welder, and then she was like, "Oh, I'm still gonna claim to be a woman so I can get like benefits of like," they said, because they want to diversify the program or whatever, so they're gonna like, get initiatives for women and they can get like free scholarships. She's like, "I'm still gonna identify as a woman to get like free stuff, basically, so I could get through the." I'm like, that's crazy. So you don't identify as a woman, but you don't really want to, really take it there all the way. You just still want to get benefits as a woman, but you don't want. I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I was like, wow, that's interesting. She said that. I was like, that's interesting. But it's very, because I respect it. I'm like, I'm at my job. I'm not going to sit here and argue with people about pronouns. I'm like, all right, whatever. And yeah, I really do believe that we should all accept who we are at the end of the day. I do want to push that. I think it's unhealthy to try to, because there's feminine men out there, they should just accept that they're feminine men, because all that stuff is experimental, like all of like and trying to push it on kids and stuff like that. So I think it's all just people trying to make money off of it at the end of the day. They're trying to create a market, and so they can exploit people and make money off of it at the end of the day, because capitalism, and it's just really,
it's really sad. It's very exploitative. It's very sad, you know. And yeah, if people want to do that when they're grown or whatever, when they're grown people, I think that's one thing. That's their life, whatever. Who cares? But trying to like push it on kids, it's just insane. It's insanity. I think it should be. We got to fight back against like the medical system trying to take advantage of kids and stuff like that. I think that's insane. And I think that I think that it's just healthy and best to accept who you are as because I used to be like that as a kid. I was like, I'm a boy, but I'm happy I wasn't born like this year. My mom didn't play that. She was like, no, I just learned how to accept my own body that I'm born in, you know? So I'm grateful for that. You know, I'm a woman and I love being a woman. And, you know, I would, so yeah, I was just like a little tomboy as a kid, but anyways, I really,
Me too.
Mm-hmm. And I'm grateful that, you know, I just accept I'm a woman. I love it.
Excuse me, but you know, Keisha and myself, we're municipal employees working for the city of New York. Okay. So we got to play along with this gender's fluidity. Like in my case, in my agency, if someone asks me where is the restroom is, I'm supposed to say, well, the men's room is over there, the women's restroom is over there, and the gender neutral bathroom is over there.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy that I learned, right? Because I'm thinking this is just American Western issues or whatever. But I watched a video about an Iranian transgender woman or whatever. And she was saying how it's like one of the most, in Iran, in like, you know, Muslim dominated countries, it's one of the most, they have the most surgeries, most like transgender surgeries over there because it's like they force, but she was speaking out about it because it's like they force gay men to pass as women so they don't, so it doesn't like ruin their image or something. So it's like, so they could pass as women so they don't seem like they're gay or something, you know? And I'm like, that is so crazy to me. I'm like, wow, that's what happens in Iran a lot. Like a lot of them are forced to get the surgery. Like they have to, like by the government forces them to get the surgery so that they just pass as women. And then that the men that are with them don't seem gay. Like they're not breaking like the laws or whatever, you know? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but let's bring Keisha into the conversation. Keisha, go ahead, please.
That's really interesting. I like a lot of what you're saying. Magic Mulata, Mulata or Mulatto. I want to say it right.
Oh, you do Mulata,
Mulata. Like at my agency, I'm sorry, I got a house full of gamers. Everyone's playing a video game right now, so I gotta talk loud. But sorry about the background noise, guys. But I have people in their emails. They have their name, their pronouns under it, their phone number, their email address, and it just really makes me uncomfortable because I'm the person like I won't lie. If I don't engage with you a lot, I'll overstep saying your name like, hey girl, hey bro, how you doing? So when you have this whole pronoun thing going on, you gotta think twice before you introduce, you have a conversation with someone or bump into someone, because you can ultimately be offending someone and getting hurt and losing your job or getting suspended over some kind of discrimination that we don't even know if it's a law that doesn't really exist, and it's just really confusing and blurred line gray area for me. But at the same time, I love the gay community, LGBTQ, however you want to say it. They have been the most people that I've had the most fun and excitement and exhilarating experiences with. I can be unconditionally myself, no filter, no cap. They're a great community of people, in my opinion, from my experience that I've had the opportunity to hang out with, versus having a group of girlfriends or groups of guy friends. That community for me, I click with them in some way, so no disrespect about, the movement. I don't agree with some of the laws and rights they're getting as far as identity and licenses and adoptions and marriages and same-sex children. Like, I feel some way about that, but, that's not the time for the place for right now. But I definitely like what you're saying, Magic Mulata. And I feel like, we need to have some stricter laws around it, since so much movement is happening and so much legislations and amendments are happening so quickly for them. We need to have some kind of rules and parameters, because I feel some way about being in the bathroom with somebody who's still got a loose sausage.
I agree. We need to have some strong boundaries because I love the gay community as well. I've always had love the gay community. I have a lot of gay friends. We've always had fun. We've always been. I totally relate to that so much. But like you said, the rules and parameters. Like we need to have some strong boundaries. Like we need to make sure kids are protected at the end of the day. Like that's more important than anything. There's been a lot of like transgender predators out there. And that's something that a lot of people don't want to face. And there's a lot of people who are preyed upon like by the medical community. Like there need to be some laws about that. Like you shouldn't be able to get like a surgery at like when you're underage. Like that's something that should not happen. Like absolutely not. And we got to make sure like we're protected, you know, we're not like us as women, we're not being put at risk, you know, we got to protect ourselves at the end of the day too, because we don't know who's who, like, you know, we got to protect ourselves and we got to have strong boundaries so that we're not put at risk by people, and that, you know, they could live their life. Like, I don't care how other grown people want to live their life. Like, that's how you want to live your life, cool with me. But as long as you're respecting my boundaries and I'm respecting yours, like, I'm not gonna, you know, I would never discriminate, disrespect, or look down on people. I would never do that to anybody who's gay or transgender or nothing. I would never disrespect them for wanting how they live their life, right? But, you know, as long as my boundaries respected, I would respect your boundaries. We're gonna be cool, you know. But there has to have those rules, and yeah, things that, you know, we're gonna accept, when things we're not gonna accept, and that's it, right? So yeah.
Like, not for nothing, I have a member in my office on my floor, and I think they're a part of the group, and it doesn't matter if they're not, but I constantly find myself staring at them. Oh my God, I probably sound like a wacko jacko Jeffrey Dahmer right now, but I constantly find myself staring at them when I see them. Like, I'm trying to look and see, is it or is it not? Is it this or is it that? Like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, I just want to know, but then it's like, you don't want to know, then like, you got to be respectful, and it's not that I'm attracted to it or whatever, but I think, oh, this is coming out so wrong. I don't mean it like that, but you guys know what I'm trying to
Are
say.
you good?
You know, but it's just weird now because you don't know. You can't look at someone and say, okay, I know that's a male in a female's body and their name is Bianca or British. You know, like, you don't know when you're looking at someone. And it's like, you have the right to have some kind of knowledge of it. You know, I'm not saying you got to wear a sticker or a tattoo or ID, but I mean, come on, where's the transparency and the disclaimer at here?
Period. The transparency is not there. Like, we should be able, like, I want us to be a country where people are not going to be discriminated and killed and hated on. Like, I'm against that. I don't want people being killed for none of that or whatever, right? Hold on, sorry.
No, but really quick, something that I wanted to add to that is that, ladies, try and understand there are a lot of these guys that are calling themselves transgender. That are, to a degree, they're trying to supplant you, and they're trying to. And one problem, something that I'm having a real problem with, is that a lot of these so-called transgender women, they're specifically wanting to date heterosexual men, and they don't want to tell them. I mean, yeah, and at the same time, they're trying to take your place as heterosexual women, as biological women, and they're even trying to get themselves in a position where they can tell you how to be a woman. I mean,
I'm totally against that. Like, we have to protect our identity as women at the end of the day. Like, we're women. Nobody's going to tell me about me, right? And I definitely think there should be a line. Like, there should be a line. Because I can, like you said, I can respect, like, a transvestite. Somebody who's like, I'm a man, but I dress as a woman. That's cool. But trying to, like, tell me, oh, I'm a woman. I'm just the same as a biological woman. No, there's a huge difference there. There's a huge fucking difference. You're not going to try to gaslight me and try to say, no, there's not a difference. When there is. And there's nothing wrong with, like, you being a transgender and you saying, okay, yeah, I identify as a woman, but I was biologically a man. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's cool. You do you, but you're not going to try to claim to be a biological woman. There's no difference. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's just insane. Like, that's not going to happen. Right?
Exactly. You don't get a menstrual, you don't get cramps, you don't get none of that. You don't
have a vagina. Like, you don't have
none of that.
Nothing.
Your boobs don't get swollen. You don't get backache. No.
You don't know. We have different hormones. Like, men, like, you know, there was a story about, like, there was this trans gender. She got the bottom surgery. She really regretted it because once she got on the hormones, it's like his sex drive went down because, you know, women, men have more testosterone, so they have more sex drive, but women, we have more estrogen, so we don't have much as a sex drive. I'm like, yeah, that's being a woman. We're not as sexually driven as men are because they have more testosterone than us. Like, because it's like, you don't really know what it's like to be a woman. Like, you will never understand. Like, we have different biology, different hormones, different makeup, different brains, you can only imagine what it's like to be a woman. You can never be like, how do you feel? Like, you know how it be, like, how do you feel like a woman, but you don't know what it feels like to be a woman, you know? So it's like, it don't make sense.
No, and something that I can respect about, I'm sure that you ladies know who RuPaul is.
Yeah, I like RuPaul. I love RuPaul.
RuPaul has been doing what he's doing since I was in high school. I mean, and I'm an old man now. But RuPaul's been transparent from day one, and when he's not playing the character of RuPaul, the guy dresses as a man, and he's been transparent about it. I can respect that. I can respect that because of the honesty, because of the transparency. Unlike some of the so-called trans, that they feel that just because they feel like they are a woman today, then they don't have to tell anybody about what they are biologically. And I take offense at that because me being a heterosexual man, I don't want to be deceived. I don't want to be what I think is a woman and looks fine and all of that, and having to find it at the worst possible moment that dude has the same type of equipment that I have. I don't want to. No,
At the worst possible moment.
That these guys.
And they try to downplay it. For real, they try to downplay it. Like it's it's like this whole what is it, homophobia? That's so weaponized against like straight men mostly because this weaponized against straight men.
There is heterophobia. There is heterophobia. It seems that it's becoming more and more like a real thing. I mean, a year ago, I would have refused to believe that, but it's becoming more and more apparent that heterophobia is becoming more and more of a thing. I mean, like,
there's nothing wrong. Don't let nobody tell you you're homophobic because you want to date a biological woman. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, don't let nobody make you feel some way. Because there's plenty of men out there that date trans women, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. Go and date trans women, but don't force a straight man who does not want to date a trans woman to try to be that. That don't make no sense. That's not healthy. That's not good. Like, that's not something we're gonna enable, right? No.
And let me just clarify what my boy Ramon was saying, because this is absolutely true. One thing that a lot of women don't understand that they're starting to catch on to now is that we just got to keep it real. You have a lot of people within the alternative community that just want to date and sleep with straight men, and they want to replace women in the process of doing that, and that's pretty much what it is. It's like, people always try to, the only time when people come up with complicated, confusing, like agendas about how they define themselves and, what they are genetically, it's only because people are trying to avoid the simple outcome and the simple, situation. And that's that you identify as a woman because that's how you feel, and you want to be able to attract straight men and be in relationships with those straight men, and you want to be accepted for it, and you want to push a lot of women to the side. First, you want women to accept you as one, and then if you can push them to the side and be in a position, be in their position, and that's what you're willing to do. I mean, I've even seen the insults online of, people from the alternative community telling, what's the quote that they use? Cisgendered women that I can take your man, B. I can take your man. So that'll tell you everything that you need to know right there. And, a lot of people are trying to attach men to this whole homophobic, label and, transphobic label because we just not with it. Like, I like women. I like women, sir. I'm sorry to tell you.
They
you're
like
not
to
gonna.
shame us. They like to shame us too. Like, they like to shame men. It's like, oh, if you don't do this, then I'm gonna shame you. And for women, if we want to take pride in our identity as women, and we would be like, no, I think we should gatekeep womanhood. I really do. I'm like, no, there should be some boundaries there. There shouldn't just be like, oh,
let's do it.
it's a free for all. We need to gatekeep womanhood. People try to shame us to be like, oh, they try to say we're homophobia too, or we're anti-trans if we want to gatekeep our own womanhood. But I don't care. We can't fall for these shaming tactics. Like, no, I'm gonna make sure my womanhood is respected, and that nobody could just walk right in here and just dress up and just be. No, that don't work like that. It don't work like that. I could respect a trans person's identity with honest. Like, I'm a biological man, but I identify more as a woman, and I want to live my life more. I could respect that, like you said. I totally respect transparency and honesty, but trying to lie and say like there's no difference, like that's a whole lie. Like, there obviously is. You can't gonna play with my intelligence like that. Like, no.
Absolutely. I mean, I saw that for when I with the Breakfast Club when Malik Yoba was up there with those people from the alternative community, and they was trying to come up with all of these different labels. I'm like, are you really just trying to confuse us to make your point valid? Because that's all that you're doing, and it's nothing against nobody. Um I'm doing this so of course so it can be code worded, but I have people from the alphabet community within my family that I've known that was on both ends from the T side and the G side. So I know about all of that. But I'm like at the end of the day, I'm a man and need to be space for masculinity because masculinity is what keep this world running. We love women. We love women with voluptuous curves. We love women with feminine legs, women with real breasts, and I ain't gonna get into other stuff, but it gotta be it gotta be
PG-13
authentic.
at 8 o'clock.
it gotta be it gotta be authentic, and that's what it is. And now due to everybody trying to make a dollar, whether it's feminism, whether it's um the alternative community, whether it's all of the people are trying to make a dollar at the corporate world. So now we are left all at the bottom, confused and having to fight, you know, to stand for what we truly are, you know, what we identify as, as far as when it comes to relationships and different things like that.
I wanted to comment about the homophobic topic a little bit. So I feel like with the whole trans and LGBT plus community and all of that stuff, and women, these trans women talking about how they could take straight women's husbands and stuff like that. I feel like it's really like TMI, like they got to do with that anal sex thing and like men backdooring men and like all that nasty shit that the man know another man want. Like I feel like that's the threat when these women that are not women that's trying to be women try to threaten women who are straight, in their marriages about how they can take their man because they think in that nasty sexual point. That's my thing. And I feel like they're very aggressive, they're very bold, they're very disrespectful. Not all of them, but a lot of them, they're super duper flamboyant, like aggressive, and it's too much. I don't like them. I don't like the ones like that. Like they'll pull up with you with your nigga or with your bitch and eyeball and all of that like that. That's a little bit too disrespectful. And some of them are out there. Not all of them, but they out there.
Yeah, it's like the super competitiveness for me because it's like they were like, oh, we look better. I've heard people say, oh, we look better than any woman. Like they've never looked because how transgenders they go hard to look like extra, 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 extra. You know, and it's like the competitive. I feel like that's a masculine trait though, like being super, super crazy competitive. That's like very masculine to me. I take that as like that's your masculinity, like you being super competitive, but you're trying to do it with women. You're not trying to be competitive with other men. Like that's how I kind of take it.
Yeah, but
Yeah, yeah, and
anything.
there are, like I was mentioning earlier, there are some of them that are trying to lecture you on how to be a woman, and that I find that to be crazy. And I sure as hell know that we heterosexual men didn't push for that. We didn't push for that. We don't support that. I mean,
I swear we did. I swear we didn't.
I assure you, we didn't push for that shit. I mean,
Think
that
about a
doesn't
lot of people said
make
Kevin
sense at
Samuels
all.
was like gay, and he was trying to just tell women how to be women because he felt like he was. What do you feel about that? Do you feel like he? A lot of people said that about him, but I don't know for sure. But a lot of people said that about him.
Magic,
No, no,
magic,
no,
magic. People, people say a lot of things.
no, but it was a little different
I don't know.
because
I don't have an opinion. I don't.
he
I don't feel
was
like.
advising. Yeah, but he was advising from the point of view of a man what we generally like and what will be
Okay.
more advantageous for a woman to do to place herself in a better position to be more eligible when it came to dating and relationships. I don't think he was talking from a place of him wanting to be a woman and supplant you. He wasn't coming from that place. I mean, yeah, there were the allegations
Like
about him. There were allegations about him, but he was a metrosexual. Metrosexuals sometimes can give off a vibe that could be misinterpreted.
yeah, I think there is a difference between like a transgender trying to tell us how to be women,
Mhm.
but they're trying to tell us how to be women so we can attract straight men, and then there's like a straight men saying what they like in a woman. I think there is a difference. So yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and to clarify what my boy Ramon was saying, yes, Kevin was definitely a metrosexual, and I can definitely relate to him too. I'm a metrosexual, not to that extent, but what I mean by that is that I like, to get my manicures and my pedicures to keep my, my nails and everything cut down. I like cologne. I like nice haircuts. I like, nice fashion and different things like that. I enjoy stuff like that, keeping myself up if I'm not working.
That's
So,
nice.
like different things like that. Because Ramon, remember, Kevin Samuels was doing cologne videos in the beginning.
Yes.
That's how everybody remembered Kevin, and he was always into the European fashion, Italian, fashion and different things like that. But of course, anytime that a man makes a critique on women, and a lot of women don't like it or they don't like him, it's automatically assumed that he's gay, and that's the label that they put on Kevin.
I'm the only black woman that didn't know who Kevin Samuels was, so I'm gonna have to binge his channel or his website or whatever. I heard on YouTube about him a lot of negative things, but I can't say I followed him, watched him, heard him, or took any of his advice or knew anything he was talking about. Only from hearing people on YouTube talk about him briefly.
No, it is recommended that you watch his channel yourself. Go back all the way back to like the beginning of the videos, or maybe the video, the average at best. That was the interview that he did that put him on the map and got a lot of women angry, even though he didn't really do
I
anything
think
bad.
about, but I think that one thing I didn't like, what I disagreed about Seven Samuels, because it's like you try to shame things for women, like that things that you can't change. Because there's a difference between toxic shame and healthy shame. Because if you shame a woman, like okay, things you can't control, like you can control if you want to dress up and look nice and try to take care and be like lose weight or whatever. That's something you can control. But you can't if a woman is over 40. Like you can't control that. I don't like age shaming. I don't like how men try to age shame women who have kids because it's nothing. You can't do nothing. Like you can't control. Like if you had children, there's nothing you can do to change that. And if you're over a certain age, there's nothing you can do to change that. So it don't make sense to try to shame and put down women if they're by age shaming or trying to shame if they have children. That was the only thing I really didn't like about him. I'm like, that's not something I think is positive. I don't think that's positive. Try to age shame women and shame women for having kids. I understand being a single mother, it's harder out there because I get all that, but you don't have to shame a woman and be like, but what Kevin Samuels did a lot. He's like, oh yeah, they have all these expectations, have unrealistic expectations and stuff like that. And I'm like, I get what he's saying. I'm like, yeah, you should be able to just find somebody on your level, right? You could just find somebody on your level and be happy with them. You don't have to, have all these crazy standards when it's like, just find somebody who's equally yoked with you, and I don't think you'll have no problems. So yeah.
So
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
yeah.
pretty much giving people advice on their relationships or groups of people in general, pretty much, and people didn't like what he was saying for the most part.
Advice. He was like an image consultant. So what he will do is that will give people advice on what they could improve to present themselves better. Not necessarily. I don't know. He was really giving relationship advice per se, but he will do consultation as to the when it came to the person that he was talking to and point out things that they could improve on. I understand what Magic was saying when it comes to that you shouldn't say shame somebody because of the age they are. There were a lot of older women that will call his show, and I don't know. I never got that vibe that he was shaming a woman because she was 40 years old or something like that. But what he will be critical of was when there were women, like Magic said, that they will have these crazy standards and they were unwilling to make any changes about it so they could give themselves a chance, especially if they were older. Because, of course, I mean, it's not ageism. It's something that has been around since the beginning of time when it comes to men preferring women that are somewhat younger. And that has been going on forever. But I don't recall Kevin Samuels specifically telling women that they didn't have a chance just because they were of a certain age. He will tell them,
"Oh, you're gonna die alone." That was his main
yeah,
thing. He said, "You're gonna die alone." I was like, "Damn."
No, yeah, he will say that a lot. Yes, he will say that a lot. But that was because there were a lot of these women that had the crazy standards, like you said, and they were not willing to improve on that, to kind of like revise that and do the work or get therapy, which is something that he said that he will recommend a lot, that people will talk to a counselor, get therapy, and work on themselves so they can have a better chance at doing better later on. He will say that a lot. I mean, he wasn't just you're old, you're gonna die alone, you're old. Like he will just throw insults. He wasn't just doing that. I mean, he will get the
I think
entire party. Mhm.
I think the best video for you to watch Magic and K-Fit to start off with from Kevin Samuels is things that your father never taught you,
I watch it.
and that'll give you and that'll give you an idea
I watch it.
on.
Yeah, and that's a critique on men, I believe.
I watch it.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a criticism of men when that video that is called like that, things that your father should have told you. He's not talking to women, he's talking to men. He's criticizing men and criticizing hard, I believe.
I'll watch that. And here's my last thing about all of that. So I think this happens on both sides. Like, if somebody doesn't reach your criteria or standards, say like a man, like they do prefer a younger woman, and they want a woman who look a certain way, and that's fine. Like, it's fine to have like what you want is what you want, but you don't have to shame people who don't really meet your standards, like women who are overweight or women who are older. It's like, oh well, you don't have to shame and demean them just because they don't meet your criteria. Or that happens with women. Like, women prefer men with money, right? And so I don't think you have to like shame and demean men who don't have enough money for you and like, oh, you a broke ass. We don't have to shame and demean each other if we don't meet each other's.
No, we shouldn't have to. We shouldn't have to. But you know that shaming men because they were broke or they were a little balding or something like that.
Yeah, that's not right. I don't believe in that.
It was brutal, and women don't hold back when it comes to doing that.
I don't believe in that. I was like, yo, if you're not attracted to him, you're just not attracted. You don't have to.
And I give you the perfect example. Can you pay my bills? Can't pay my telephone bill. Can't pay my. They make
we all heard that song.
No scrubs. No scrubs.
Oh, I remember that
one. Yeah, it happens. Men do it. Women do it. And I don't think
women also shame men about things they can't control, like their height.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
And it's sad. I don't think we should be out here trying to shame people for things they can't control at all. I don't think that's right. Either side, if it's toward the men, it's toward the women. I don't think we should be doing all that. I think that's
because even if the woman is a little older, but if she takes care of herself, which is something that she's in control of, still men are gonna be likely to wanna holler at her. And
exactly, it's a lot of attractive
to them.
Listen, I mean, because I'm close to middle age, so it's a lot of attractive women out here that are in their 40s, that are in their everything is, and then on top of it, you'll date women too that's on that age that you can relate to, from that era, from your generation. So like, that's not the problem at all. But what he was talking about, women who have these unrealistic standards that they're going to meet some guy that's what they call the 6'6", 6 feet, 6 figures, 6-pack, the Morris Chestnut, and they're not even around those circles to meet men like those. You don't know if he's going to be into you, different things like that he used to definitely touch on.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
But thank you so much, Jose. I think this was a great conversation. I loved everybody on the panel. It was so good. We got to do this more often. It was a good open topic night, and I appreciate all of you guys. I'm gonna have to hop down. Thank you, Chanel. Thank you, Inverted Boricua, 18th letter. Jose, thank you for having me on your platform. It was a good conversation.
Well, thank you, Magic. Don't feel like a stranger. I just want you to know that you're more than welcome to pop in whenever you're able to.
Yeah, Magic, this is the first time I've ever heard you on a panel before.
Yeah, I have seen you on chats, but I don't see you coming up on panels so much. This is a good one. This was a good combo, and hoping that we can do this again.
Definitely. Good combo. Bye, you guys. You guys have a great night. Thank you so much.
You too.
Good
night. Take care. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that we could have kept that chat going on, but I know that she has her peoples around, so she had to tend to them. But yeah, it was cool. It was cool to have her on the panel. I mean, very lively, the girl.
Yes, absolutely. And we have to give Cashel props for that thumbnail photo. That is a great photo, Cashel.
Not bad, Kishel. Not bad. I mean,
That is a throwback. Oh my God, that's before I started my lock journey. But thank you guys.
not bad at all, chica.
That's
Looking
my
good.
work office. You know the bathroom selfies, how the girls do. We go to the bathroom and click, 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 click.
Yeah. You were in you were in the restroom, the photo session.
Yep,
Absolutely.
absolutely. I was sneaking out the office. Like, all right, time for a bathroom selfie while I still look good and I'm not sweaty and stink yet.
All
So,
right.
but man, I get a chance to go home a little bit later. I'm so happy. I think I'm gonna try to cook myself a meal this weekend, God willing, if I have the time.
Well,
Man,
in my case, I've been eating a lot of leftovers because I had my siblings over on Monday to celebrate my birthday, so I've been eating a lot of lasagna and chicken tenders. So
All right.
I
All
want to
right.
make some.
Lucky you.
I want to make some purple sweet potatoes. Um, Also, of course, I definitely want to make a pot of greens. Like I like to go get my collard greens, my kale greens, uh, and three different types of kale is what I use with my greens: red kale, Dino kale, and green kale. And of course, with my collard greens, garlic, bell pepper, red onion, season it up real nice, vegetable stock, olive oil. You know,
Ah.
bring that to a
Yeah,
pot,
I
make
have
some
Okay,
to.
cornbread
goddamn,
on the side.
goddamn. Okay, Mama Kitchen.
We got a
That's
chef.
Nanny Kitchen right there.
The culinary knowledge here on the panel.
What a soul when the soul food spot opening up in Chicago.
Oh man, you know what? I got so
It's
much
gonna be called,
competition. I got
it's
so
gonna be
much
called
competition.
Rakim. Yeah.
well, guys, I'm gonna be doing a little experimenting. Like for example, I'm gonna try for the Christmas season. I'm gonna experiment by putting ranch dressing on pasteles.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what,
Don't
Jose?
Jose,
Don't ever go to the
Jose,
island with that.
don't
Don't ever
start.
go.
Don't start with that. Don't
Don't
start
go
with
to the island with that. Man.
don't start with that. First it was the ketchup. Now it's the ranch dressing. Now you're putting peanut butter on things. Some Puerto Rican food, which is a travesty. Like, come on, Don Jose, you know better.
Too much
Don't
comfort food, Jose. That could be dangerous.
And one thing I wasn't aware of, I was looking at a show online called Chicago's Best, where they go to different eateries, and I was not aware that it is Dominican population here in Chicago. I remember Fighter did say that a long time ago, but I guess like the small Dominican population, I guess it blends in more with the Puerto Rican community. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was like, wow, because it was this woman had a restaurant called Morena's Kitchen, and she was Dominican. I was like, I'll definitely have to go up north and try that restaurant.
Yeah, no, definitely. Go over there and try some mango with fried salami and the cheese that they have. Ask for those three things. I mean, that's good eating.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like usually, I haven't had Dominican food. Of course, I grew up on Puerto Rican food, but I
Right.
haven't had any Dominican food. So I definitely will go check it out. And it's also well, we everyone always known of the Cuban population to be here, but it's not like really like a Cuban neighborhood. They just blend into the Humble Park area. But Cuban breakfast is, oh my God. I had a chance to have a Cuban breakfast one time, and with that coffee, man, I felt like I had a battery in my back.
Yeah, because it's very strong. It's very strong. That's why they give you like a tiny little cup of it, kind of like the size of a shot glass, because it's so strong that you can't have like a regular cup of it. I mean, you're gonna be all wired up.
Yeah, I'd be jittery.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, lately I've been very busy working. I've been doing a lot of overtime, dealing with the asylum seekers. So sometimes I don't get a chance to watch other people's streams and whatnot.
No, definitely. I mean, you're busy with your thing. Just get that overtime, Don Jose. Do your thing.
Yeah,
So
send my Christmas gift in the mail early since you're making all that money.
yes, yeah, that's priority. That's a priority.
Well, I already promised one female lunch, so I guess.
Don't let them girls trick on your money. Don't tell them, girl. Don't tell them.
No,
Yeah,
don't
Jose.
let Clara hear that. Don't let Clara hear that. No,
Only me. No.
only we can tell. Only we can tell because that's
So
No, but I gotta be careful because I don't want Clara to get jealous and upset.
the thing.
You gonna-
Clara, I'm just a friend from the union. I'm not like that. Just jokes. Clara, if you're watching.
I know.
Oh
I
yeah, we know you're joking, Kishelle.
But Clara don't know me.
Clara gonna make an unexpected trip to the Bronx without Jose
Mhm.
knowing.
She's like, where that girl in the bathroom picture?
Yeah. Maybe she has a connection in Washington Heights.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jose, help. It's a
No.
misunderstanding.
Let me just say something special. Mi amor, te amo mucho. No hagas caso de eso que estás diciendo.
That's
Okay.
anything you just said.
Pórtese bien, Jose. So, you'll behave yourself. All right.
But guys, I'm gonna pop down. I miss talking to you guys. I've been feeling crazy. I haven't been up on a while, but I miss talking to
Yeah,
you guys.
I was meaning to ask you about that, Kishelle. Like as far as how's everything been going right now so far?
It's been a good week. I had some nausea this week. I'm on some 325 milligram iron
Mhm.
pills that is doing a crazy number on my body right now, but I'm trying not to complain, trying to be positive. I can't eat seafood, so I'm like on a raw, strict diet right now, so that's
Uh-huh.
crazy for me. So I'm just like, a little stressed and
You
just
think
trying to stay
you think
cool-headed.
it might have been the seafood you were eating, or a particular place you might have been purchasing it from where it wasn't the best?
It could have been. I'm gonna be open minded to say it could have been. I don't know. Like I'm not blaming anybody. I just want a diagnosis to know how to move forward, and that's the
Right,
stressful part for me. Like not having the diagnosis.
right, because with the way things are going right now, it's only certain markets you can get your seafood from. Um, Me personally, it can be a little expensive, but I would prefer organic. And I know that you guys got Whole Foods over there in New York, so just like whenever you can get to Whole Foods, whenever you can purchase just some of it to just for your diet and everything, I would prefer going to their market because some of these seafood places.
Well, trust me, this Saturday on Waterface, I'm gonna have a little ticket going down at the bottom. It says, "Please donate to Kishelle
The
Cash App. You want to help her get some good Whole Foods, some good Trader Joe's, some
the
good
food.
fresh juices." I'm gonna
I
talk
would
about
definitely
my
no, I would definitely.
this
Well,
week of Wine and FaceTime.
well, speaking of the Cash App, I also have that Cash App. It's called $Cute One and Wine. No one has made a donation, so
I
you know.
definitely got to make a donation, Jose.
Yeah, I have to as well.
I mean,
But
just
good night, guys. I
good
really
night.
want to
Be
say
safe,
thank you.
Kisha. I'll give you a call during the weekend.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, take care.
All right,
All right,
everyone. See
take
you
it
later.
easy. Hey,
All right,
yes.
K
Have a
Fish.
team, everyone.
My
Yeah.
man. So the ladies left. So where were we when it came to, aside from the whole thing about well, I don't want to get back to the whole subject of the pronouns. I think we were already clear on that.
Yeah, I just wanted to say shout out to Cultural Politics. That's a good dude right there. I really enjoy his commentary on videos in the past and everything. So shout out to Cultural.
All right.
Yeah. So do I. Oh, by the way, it is now 68 days until the first day of winter.
Oh,
Okay.
when winter started already?
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it's still, I don't know. It's still the fall. I mean, that's not until what, December? That's at least that's how I like to look at it, and not until December. That's when it really starts. Then it extends until February, which is when it really gets cold. It's not gonna be like that for a while over here, at least. So I'm not worried too much right now. I mean,
Well,
it gets
well,
it's gonna be getting a little
the
chilly.
good news.
but yeah.
Well, the good news is that this winter will be nice and cool for a change.
Well, I mean, I don't want to. Your definition of cool is too much for me. We have already been over it, and I want no part of it. You can keep it. You can keep it to yourself.
But it's funny because when I went to delegate training this past weekend,
Yeah, because
it got down to the 30s, and for some reason people were complaining it was cold. And I see we have Crazy Boy on the chat. Good evening.
Okay, installs on Radis stream. Okay. I think he might be referring to the last live stream. Well, that one got a little bit crazy. I mean, because race is such a big part of it. I guess you guys can talk about it if you want. I don't get too much into those subjects when it comes to race. But I think it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was actually very interesting because it was kind of pushing the narrative. And it was kind of like a different take, a different take on the subject.
Well, I need to watch it. It's just that a problem is he has these streams are done when I'm working, so it makes it very hard.
Yeah, it's at a certain time during the day. It's the same for me. It's the same for me. I might be able to listen in, but I'm in the middle of some things, so I can't even type anything in the chat because I'm busy. I'm doing other things. So yeah, I recommend that you watch it, and it has like a somewhat different perspective, something very particular. It's actually very good, very interesting.
Yeah. So it's just that I'll try to see if I can watch it this weekend. Yeah, it's just that, like I said before, it's sometimes hard since I do a lot of overtime because you gotta make that green.
Yeah. No, I know. I get it. That has to take priority.
Yeah. Exactly. So, if there's anything else in your mind, Ramon, that you want to talk about?
Well, at this time, I think I'm good. I mean, I was thinking about a subject. I couldn't come up with anything right now, so there is a good chance that I might be able to do a stream maybe tomorrow, because right now I wasn't feeling like doing anything aside. Hopefully tomorrow, not everybody's gonna be doing live streams, so I can get a chance. So not everybody's gonna be doing are gonna be doing their own programs. So we'll see. Maybe I'll start with a subject, but open up the panel to whatever. So everybody can kind of like exercise their mind and bring something to the stream and to the panel. So we'll see. I'm gonna be thinking about it. Maybe what I can start talking about, and we can take it from there.
Okay.
That's all.
I do appreciate the fact that even at this stage, that there's 7 people currently viewing this stream. So I just want to say thank you very much. If anybody else wants to get on the panel briefly, the link is there. If not, I'll start to wrap it up. unfortunately, it seems like every time I get on, someone else has a live stream on. So
No, especially with me because I have the smaller channel. Hey MLS,
hello,
what's going on?
MLS.
Yeah,
Well, remember, Ramon, I have a small channel too.
yeah. No, you're doing better. You're doing better. I'm the one who's not doing enough streams, so it's not. It could be growing, but it's just that I'm not doing anything anything controversial or ratchet. So that will make it grow, but
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe one of these days I'll risk it and actually made a video that has to do with race. And I'll figure that everybody will come running, ready to.
Well, next week, I'm going to be doing a stream regarding cyberbullying.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And of course,
All right.
Sunday, I'm going to do a stream completely in Spanish.
Got you.
So hopefully you, Morena and Marcel will hop on. I know there's certain people who stop popping up on the channel for various reasons. So if they want to hop on, they can do so. If not, it's okay.
Okay. Yeah. You know that I'm always gonna be on the lookout. So if I can't get on it right away, at least I'll give you a shout out.
Well, I appreciate it because lately, the views I've been getting in my streams have been going down somewhat.
Oh. Okay.
I think part of it has to do with I'm competing against other YouTube creators, and sometimes the topics may not be all that interesting. Other times, the people who stop supporting the channel for whatever reasons, and it's a little disappointed because one thing I do is whenever a YouTube creator pops on, I was making a point to give them a shout out and encourage people to support those channels. So the fact that some people are no longer feeling recipient with me, it is what it is.
Right.
So
okay.
So
No
what I'm
problem.
going so go ahead. Ramon, you was about to say something else?
No.
Okay.
No. Just wanted to say that I appreciate you letting me be on your panel, on your platform. I look forward to the next one, and shout out to the chat and to also the guests that were able to join us. It was a great combo, and I'm looking forward to it repeating. And so we can have we can do something like that, like this again, and we can have another exchange of points of views and ideas, and showing that it can be done in a civil manner. Well, not everybody has to have animosity, and nobody has to argue and things like that. It's not necessary. We're showing that it can be done. There are people that think that interactions can only be done if there is ratchetness, there is arguing and things like that. But we're showing that it can be done in a civil manner, and everybody can get along just fine. And even if there are disagreements, we can be adults about it. That's an important thing. That's important.
Okay.
That's how I see it. But thank you, Jose.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Ramon. Please be safe and have a good night.
You too. I'm gonna step out. Have a good one, sir.
All right, take care. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my final remarks. Actually, it was a pretty good stream. I mean, sometimes when it comes to these open topic streams, sometimes the traffic could be slow, sometimes it could be better. But I'm glad to see that quite a few people actually showed up. I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone in the chat. Crazy boy, MLS, Reese, Magic, Blazing King, excuse me, just give me cultural politics, Introvert Boricua, Ramon, and I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who appear on the panel, which we had Magic, we have Radical, we had Keisha, we had the 18th Letter, and let's see, I think that was it. So I really appreciate all the love that all of you have given me. I mean, the fact of the matter is, the success that I have achieved, it's because of people like you who give of your time, which is something you can never get back. And the fact that you support this platform where there's so many millions of people that support, and in fact, I'm really touched by the fact that even at this late stage, there are eight people watching this stream. I just want to say that I really, really, really appreciate all the love and support all of you have given me. And, you know, I can go on for a long time. It's just that we're coming close to almost 3 hours. And usually I don't do marathons, okay? And plus, I think Don Armando has a stream, so I want to show a little support towards him. But I just want to let everybody know that I will be live Sunday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. The difference is it's going to be in Spanish. However, everyone is welcome to join. And if anyone does not speak Spanish, I'll do my best to try to translate. We'll be doing a stream Tuesday regarding how to avoid stress in the holidays. And Thursday, we're going to be talking about cyberbullying. Okay, so on that note, I really do appreciate all the love all of you have given me. And of course, I'm going to close the same way that I always close, which is let's be good to ourselves and to each other. And I just want to say thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. And I'm going to ask that if you have not done so, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button whenever you do see me with any content, and set the notification to all. So therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have an opportunity to see it live or catch it on the playback. And of course, after the stream is over, everyone is more than welcome to enter a comment or ask us, just please be respectable. So that being said, I have nothing else to say. It's been my pleasure to have spend a good portion of the evening with all of you. So that I just want to say, have a good night, take care, and peace out.
Be strong.